Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Of course, you can join us here on the radio waves. Bring up whatever happens to be on your mind. And it is a bittersweet edition of Free Talk Live for me because, Derek J., it's going to be your last episode of Free Talk Live for the foreseeable immediate future.
Yeah, see you guys. I'll miss you.
You're going, I say bittersweet because for you, it's pretty exciting. You're going off to San Francisco. For our listeners who haven't heard that yet, you've been on the show now for a number of years, since all the way back.
2011.
Yeah, you got started when I was in jail, I think, back then. And now here you are.
That's right. In your absence, I added a voice to Free Talk Live and have been on the show since then. And that's been a lot of fun.
Exploded into this one-man media empire with so many different radio shows that you do. You've got Flaming Freedom on Thursday nights, Cop Block Radio on Wednesday nights on LRN.FM, both of those shows. You're also, doing Freedom Fiends.
Yeah,
also.
Regular co-host of Freedom Fiends every Sunday night from 1 to 3 a.m.
You've done a lot of television production, and you've also produced your own movie, Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. So it's been an absolute blast doing media with you here. I'm so sad to see you go, but at the same time, so excited for you because I know you're going to have a blast in San Francisco.
Thanks. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to work in the world of Bitcoin and expand Bitcoin adoption in person in San Francisco and throughout the world.
And you're also planning on continuing
That's the goal.
Most of your radio shows. So
all of them.
Except for Free Talk Live.
Except for Free Talk Live,
I have a
which is
pesky
sad.
rule about being actually physically here to do a show.
Freedom Fiends, or the Fiend Phone would make this possible, but... I understand your rule, but people can catch all the things that I'm doing at TheDerekJ.com. I actually have an RSS feed that includes all the different podcasts that I do. So if you miss me from this show, you can go subscribe to that podcast feed.
Will you still do video blog style updates as you have done?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and I continually upload. I just uploaded a few videos there this week, so you can follow that. Links are all at TheDerekJ.com.
Now, I heard that you got video from yesterday's Free the Nipple event.
Oh, yeah.
But that was kind of a difficult thing to do. You didn't want to feel like a creeper or whatever? What was that?
Yeah, so there was a Free the Nipple event yesterday, which was a national event for topless equality, where men and women were topless out in public. And I wanted to capture the event, as a media person and just record, get on the record. Hey, people were here at the beach hanging out.
Right.
But also, I didn't want to be this creepy guy with a video camera, sneaking up on topless women. They could make any kind of assumption about what I'm doing. So I wanted to be really explicit with all the people that I recorded.
Yeah, I'd like to make sure that they were cool with it.
Yeah, or just stay at a very far distance, just to capture the scene of people are playing Frisbee, and it's not so obvious that you can't see them up close, but you can tell that they're topless. And some other ladies I recorded, and I just asked them point blank, hey, mind if I record you? I want to get from your neck up because I want this to go on YouTube. So
right. So what I was going to ask is if you had to do any censoring of the video in order to upload it.
Yeah, but they would have been comfortable otherwise. It's not like they were declining. They were out in public, so they didn't mind being seen. They didn't mind taking pictures.
Kind of the purpose of the event.
Right.
No, I was just talking about from YouTube's perspective.
Free the nipple.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about some sort of artsy decision or whatever or to protect the viewers. It's YouTube they're gonna pull your video.
Well, wait a minute. It's also about consent, Mark, because I asked these ladies permission to film them, and later on I saw these very two same individuals who were being harassed by a man who was recording them with his phone, and they didn't want him to be.
Interesting.
He was up in their grill, and they were recording him as a defensive measure, saying that they were going to Photoshop something else into his mouth, and it was discouraging to see, honestly, that these women couldn't just enjoy the day without being harassed. I would have hoped that would have been the case, that it would just be a normal day and there wouldn't be anything unusual.
What kind of harassment? Tell them to put their shirts on, or what were they saying?
Guys getting up close into their personal space, taking pictures of them, and saying some comments about the fact that they're topless, or I saw some guys actually follow some women back to their car, which really it concerned me after the fact. I thought that they were like friends with these ladies, like maybe they were all just hanging out, and I don't know who, they're all strangers to me. But later, as I was driving away, it became clear like they were harassing these women, saying, "Oh, what's the matter? You could take a picture of me, you know, I don't mind." And it was about consent. I felt like for a lot of these women, even though they want to free the nipple and be out in public, it's still just a common courtesy to ask someone's permission if you want to take their photo out in public. I get that I film a lot of people in public without their permission.
Yes,
I do it.
That was what I was thinking
right.
about.
I do that for government people, but these are just people out trying to enjoy their day in a park, and it's just I just think it's a nice thing to do, to ask someone's permission if you're going to use their image.
Did you get any video of these hecklers, of the people that were giving them a hard time? Or was it the ladies who recorded the video?
No, the ladies recorded the video, and I was really delighted to see that that was their response. Like, get
it on the record.
Yeah, it's a peaceful way to, and that guy went away. It was a deflection for him. He didn't want to be recorded, and
he could dish it out, but he couldn't take it.
Well, yeah, and that was even more powerful than if they were to use fists, right? These women didn't need any men to come to their aid. They were about 20 years old, I would estimate, and young topless women walking along the beach. There's lots of young guys who were shouting things at them from across the way, and it takes a lot of courage to do what they did.
It's interesting, the hecklers that you're talking about, they were male. Did they encounter any opposition from females that you noticed? Because
no,
I know when I've seen some of the, like the news reports about the topless events, there have been females who've been commenting on how they don't agree with it. So it was interesting that it was the males that were giving them more of a hard time in the real world.
Well, a lot of this male attention was basically cat calls and wolf whistles, this sort of thing, right?
Well, I don't know. It's not entirely clear. It's just sort of a... I couldn't hear exactly what words were being said, but anecdotally, one woman did cover the eyes of her young male child as these women were walking past, to protect him, of course, from seeing these exposed nipples. Yeah. And I thought that was bizarre. They relayed that story to me.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing when you see it happen. And I've seen women behave that way. I saw one mom behave that way with her kids when I was walking in the Memorial Day parade. It wasn't a topless event. I had a peace flag with me, and apparently that was worthy of covering the child's eyes as well. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. We've got Mean Bob in Ohio. You're on Free Talk Live. Mean Bob. Hello?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
I'm good friends with Ted Cruz, and I wanted to know, are you guys going to be voting for him, right, this coming election, right?
We're going to be whatting for him? Voting?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I mean, I can't answer for Derek J. and Mark Edge here, but
I don't even know which one he is.
He's got dark hair. He's running as a Republican.
He sounds uninteresting.
Yeah.
I don't believe he was born in the United States. Is that right?
Well, no, hold on. Now, let me help change your guys' minds. Let me tell you a quick story about my good friend Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Persuade me.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, me and my buddy Cruz went down to Tijuana for a little guys' night out, and after a few drinks from one of the local bars, Cruz suggested we go see a local donkey show.
A bondage show?
No.
Donkey.
Sounds kinkier.
Oh, no.
Well, when we get there, the show begins, and at first I was a little disappointed that it was a man instead of a woman with the donkey, but then my buddy Cruz says he likes it better that way, and I tell him, well, whatever gets your donkey off. So after the show is over, my buddy Cruz shows the performer a couple of Franklins, and both of them and the donkey go in the back for something. I think they were playing Call of Duty, because I can hear my buddy Cruz yelling, I love teabagging.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Did he say you love teabagging? Is that what he said? Okay. You're going to have to go to Urban Dictionary to look that one up, because I don't think that we can talk about what that is.
Isn't it what Tea Partiers do?
Oh, boy. All right, so 855-450-FREE. That is the toll-free number here tonight. Is it wrong to kiss your children on the lips? Mark apparently does it, and Derek J. wants to talk about it.
Ew.
It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to purse.freetalklive.com and open an account. Do this right now, don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to purse.freetalklive.com right now and get signed up and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 25% off of everything on Amazon through purse.freetalklive.com. It's purse.freetalklive.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Why do over 50% of North Americans suffer from some form of chronic ailment? Could it be due to a toxic overload? It's time to take back your life. Get the lead out as well as the cadmium, mercury, and calcium. Extendovite is a garlic cayenne supplement with 5 other herbs that acts like a natural Drano, cleaning out the stored toxins, restoring your energy and youthfulness that we've lost. If you would like to live your life free of sickness, pain, or fear, then Extendovite is for you. Available in either capsules or liquid, you too can see why Extendovite is the #1 heart drop available. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
By now, you know the smart way to buy emergency food storage is calories per dollar. Ready Supply Foods sells you 50% more food for your money. GMO-free, 25-year shelf life, great tasting, and free shipping. You need 2,000 calories per day under ideal conditions. Most 30-day kits don't have enough calories to sustain you for more than a week. They just don't have enough nutrition to do the job. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We are the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. Libertyoncall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your health care. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. libertyoncall.org. Call today.
Now more Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you'd like. We've got kissing to talk about here tonight. And actually, I made a mistake when we were going out to the break there. I said that it was Derek that wanted to talk about it. Actually, Mark, you had brought this story in about kissing on the lips as far as your kids are concerned. And I want to get into that here in a moment. We've also, of course, got a website. You can go and get interactive on a variety of different ways there. Right there on the front page, you can actually create the content on freetalklive.com. So go there and get involved and enjoy. It's all totally free. Also, you can go to bitcoinist.net, which is the ultimate resource for Bitcoin industry news, reviews, education, and the latest in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Bitcoinist, bitcoinist.net. It's the prime online destination for info about the Bitcoin and digital currency industry, including community forum, breaking news, as well as fintech and blockchain news. Bitcoinist has sophisticated Bitcoin network statistics, a beginner's guide to Bitcoin that is excellent, and more. The Bitcoinist platform serves the needs of everyone looking to keep up with Bitcoin and digital currencies, from beginners to experts. Go to bitcoinist.net. That's bitcoinist.net. Let's go first to the phones, and then we'll talk about kissing. Libertarian Banker is calling from He'd Rather Not Say. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, go ahead with your thoughts.
Want to start off and just say I don't see any problem with kissing your kids on the lip. My daughter does it all the time. In fact, it's kind of a game. Hey, Daddy, give me a kiss on the lips, that kind of thing. So just want to throw my 2 cents in there.
How's that a game?
Anyway, look, what I wanted to call about tonight was actually something that Mark had brought up last night. He was talking some crap about the bankers. And Mark, I had to call up and defend.
I figured I'd hear from you.
Yeah, I'm glad you called in because Mark was making these sweeping statements that he ultimately clarified eventually to say that he thought that bankers were gangsters if they would ruin someone's credit over an extra charge, or like a charge that they'd never paid off or something like that.
Absolutely. And Mark, I would agree with you in some sense that the banking system and the Federal Reserve System and the banking cartels that make up that system act like gangsters. Absolutely, they do. But there are certainly banks out there that handle things the right way. And so my question is about the friend that you had that had the $8.50 charge on his account that you said they ruined his credit over. So my question to you, Mark, is what is their recourse? What is the recourse when somebody owes you money like that, unsecured, not secured by any type of collateral? What is the recourse, Mark?
Well, I tell you this. I think that in that circumstance where, say, a person has a dispute of an $8.50 charge, and then the bank hits them with late fees, and then continually day after day hits those late fees with late fees to the point that you're talking about thousands of dollars over an $8.50 charge. A debt is created when I get something from you of value, and I'm going to pay it back, and I don't pay it back. Whereas when you're talking about bank fees, you're talking about somebody. I'm not going to call it arbitrarily because in many cases it's in the contract, but somebody just creates a number out of thin air and says, this is what you owe us, and it's because of this $8.50 charge. And that I find offensive. What is their recourse? Their recourse is an opportunity to say, well, look, we put some time and energy into this. This $8.50 has cost us. How about $100 and we'll give you a new account and we can start all over, and then your credit won't be ruined anymore.
Absolutely, and banks do that all the time in settling charges and credit cards and past due debts and things like that. So that type of thing happens all the time. My thing is in my experience, when somebody is upset with a bank, the first thing they do is they do, I'm going to close my account, and so maybe what your friend did was act, in haste, and maybe he should have gone to the bank, disputed the charge. I don't know what happened in that situation, obviously. But, instead of just closing out his account and saying, see you later, and then this $8.50 charge, the bank's like, well, what the heck,
Hey.
There's hundreds of people out there that do the same things to banks every stinking day. And, you got to have some recourse at some point because there is no collateral on something like that.
I'm with you, Libertarian Banker. You got to have some kind of recourse in any kind of business if people steal from you. And that's what I would consider this being. You have a debt to the business and someone is walking out on it. They're stealing from you effectively. But for $10 or less, is it worth it to employ anyone to go chase after someone who's walked out with that amount of money from a bank?
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's very petty over $8.50, and I would imagine that is probably a big mega bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo.
That's the one.
I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to name them. But there are a lot of local banks and credit unions out there that are all about customer service. And
Well, a
all
credit
about
union's
the
not a bank,
customer.
and credit unions weren't mentioned in this.
They provide banking services, right? Credit unions.
The difference is that they're not taxed. So credit unions actually I like a lot better because the government doesn't steal money from them. Although they do still give them their power. So,
but isn't it true, Libertarian Banker, that if one bank blackballs you, that you're blackballed from the entire system? So therefore,
yes, and that is a very good point in that there's a system called Telecheck and also some other systems that they can run you through when opening a bank account. And I've seen countless people get in that system that actually have a legitimate, something that happened. Oh, I bounced a check and I cleared it up, or this person stole my identity and charged this up, and the bank never cleared it. And it is impossible to get your name cleared out of that particular system. The credit bureau system, however, has a lot more rules in place as to how to dispute things. But the Telecheck, those type of checking account systems, they're awful. They are absolutely awful.
I'm in that system, Libertarian Banker, and I know this for a fact because I happen to be the friend who Mark was mentioning. So
it was none of my business to say his name on the air.
I appreciate that, but I don't mind revealing that. I walked out in haste. You're right. I stormed out because I believed that the customer was always right, but boy, was I wrong. The bank sure showed me. I just wanted to close my account and say, look, I've paid hundreds of dollars in these overdraft fees. You're all crooks. You haven't given me anything. I don't even want to have a bank account. I just need to for like bill paying and stuff. It needs to go through a bank. That's just the world we live in. So anyway, they ruined my life. They ruined my credit. And now when I tried to get a bank account here in Keene from one of the local banks, they ran my name through this system. I wasn't looking for a credit card. I didn't want any money from them. I wanted to put money into their account, into their establishment. And they said no. You've been blackballed from this system. You cannot participate.
Thanks for mentioning that. And actually, that's I'm sorry if I said anything there that would have offended you, sir. But
no.
Basically, that system that you're talking about is creating an entire class of unbankable people that are there then for other industries to pounce on. I mean, like these pay cards. That charge
the title loans and the cash for the cash advances and all of that. So there's no way to come back from a Telecheck blackball? There's just you can't
There is, but there is no uniform process as there is.
Wow. Can we talk about it? Because I want to see what your experience is in coming back. I've met a lot of people who are in this system, and their lives are effectively just shut down financially.
If you got time, stand by. Libertarian Banker, this is Free Talk Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MyTV. 1-855-905-MyTV.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state in back taxes, you know they'll never stop coming after you. With bank levies, wage garnishments, they'll even seize your home or business. The good news? A government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative.
I'm Paul Sibley with U.S. Tax Shield. We can help navigate the new laws, get you protected, and resolve your tax issues permanently.
Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield now for your free consultation and get a guaranteed quote to resolve your case. Call 800-436-6451. That's 800-436-6451.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here toll free at 855-450-FREE. And how would you like to save big time on your next purchase at Amazon? How about saving 25%? 20%, somewhere around there. Because the average is 20%, but I've never had a problem getting 25% off over at Purse. Now, what you do is you go to saveatpurse.com. That takes you to our special page where you can get registered. Once you do that, Free Talk Live, whenever you buy something through saveatpurse.com, that will get us a very small portion of the purchase price. Now, you only have to go to saveatpurse.com just that first time to get registered for the account. After that, you can go to their regular URL. You add whatever you want to your Amazon wish list, import that into Purse, and then select the discount that you want. You get to choose the discount. Now, the higher the discount, the longer it might take to fulfill your order. So they actually have a Purse Instant option where you can save 5% without having to wait at all. But if you're willing to give it a few hours or a day or two, you can save 20, 25%, no problem. Get started at saveatpurse.com. What's the catch? How do you save this kind of big money? Well, you have to pay with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin makes that possible. Now, if you want to learn how, it's very easy. Just go to saveatpurse.com. They got a great video there that really explains the process. I've done it a couple dozen times at least and intend to continue using saveatpurse.com.
As long as I can.
Absolutely. So let's go back to Libertarian Banker. He is calling to discuss this idea that banks are gangsters, and that's what Mark was suggesting last night. I got Mark to clarify that he only meant the banks that would essentially blackball someone's credit over an unpaid $8 fee. And Libertarian Banker, I guess you guys had another question for him about like the process of coming back from one of these blackballs. Is that right?
Yeah, there was some organization he called, I think, Telecheck, I believe is what it was called. And yeah. I've met a few friends who have gotten on the wrong side of banks. Now, for whatever reason, I've made a lot of mistakes in life. Anybody who knows me knows it's true, but I've never had this particular problem. Maybe it's the healthy fear of banks, bred into me from very early on. But, the fact that we even talk about healthy fear of these organizations kind of backs up what I'm discussing. So when Libertarian Banker, when people get on the wrong side of Telecheck, how do they get out of this system? It's got to feel a lot like, a Kafka-esque nightmare. Derek J., how long have you dealt with it?
It's been years. This was back in like 2010.
Did you ever ask Derek what the process was to rebuild from the blackballing?
No, as the letters piled up from Bank of America, I just sort of ignored them and threw them in the trash.
Okay, so you haven't been in the process for 10 years or whatever. You haven't even tried.
I did try once when I tried to get a bank account here in Keene. I went with a local bank because I thought maybe they would be exempt or maybe they would look the other way, and that wasn't the case. They handed me a piece of paper that said, "Oh, here, call this telecheck system," and it was a dial through the automated voice sort of thing where it's like 1-800 and then press 4 and then press 5 and then input this code, and at the end of it, it was just like, "That's it, see ya, bye, we'll get in touch,"
and
it was just they hung up on you. So it's like there's nothing to do. There's no recourse for a person who may have made this mistake. And I would call it a mistake. I wouldn't do it again. Certainly.
You were young at the time.
I didn't know. I was about 19. 19, and I was naive enough to think that a business would treat me with the mantra that the customer is always right. I mean, I had handed them hundreds of dollars in just that year in these overdraft fees. And I think it's designed this way. I think, people who are young might be able to identify with me, where you don't keep a lot of money in the bank and then you use your debit card for everything, and then if it goes over just by 30 cents or something, you're hit with a $25, $30 fee.
Libertarian banker, go ahead.
Absolutely. And Derek, this happens all the time. And to answer your question about telecheck, it is, I don't know the whole process, but I know it's very difficult from the people I've talked to that have tried to go through it. So it's a terrible system, and there's no competition for these reporting sort of agencies. There's like one or two of them, and the banks are kind of like monkeys. They just, the bell rings and they go ooh, ooh, So, they want to find one simple solution that anybody could use, but it's terrible. But what I would say is there is a lot of financial institutions that are recognizing these types of people and actually are providing decent financial services to them and not trying to rip them off. There's a couple of Walmart actually. I got to give them credit. They've turned this that group of people, that demographic, into a customer base, a pretty good customer base, with the Bluebird card and with there's another thing, Wood Forest National Bank. They have something called the Second Chance checking account, if you've ever seen that. But
now, I know Walmart was trying to get into banking, but they were denied several years ago. Have they been allowed to offer more banking services since then? I know they wanted to launch an actual Walmart bank so they could issue their own credit cards and save big time on credit card fees, but the regulators wouldn't let it happen.
And I don't know the exact story there, but yeah, you're right. They have been trying for years. But this, Wood Forest, I think, is just an affiliate of theirs. But they, they have this thing. American Express has the Bluebird card. Walmart has something else. But they're actually decent services, that don't charge a heck of a lot of money, that won't allow you to overdraw it and things like that, which are starting to fill that niche in the market, I guess. But I, one final point, and then I know you guys got to let me go, but. I think that all of this kind of stems from the fact that the dollar itself is not meant to be a virtual currency. It was meant to be a paper currency. And, the banks have tried to turn it into a virtual one and have, used it to their advantage to post transactions in certain orders and do other things, manipulate the currency in a way that benefits them. And that's why I like Bitcoin. And, I've called in about that before.
So here's another practice that I have experienced firsthand from banks. And if this was a practice that was being used on me from sort of any other business besides the government, a bank, and a cell phone provider, I would consider it completely unacceptable, and I'd go to the competition. If it was being done to me by a friend, I'd never speak to them again, which is that when they they'll like I make a deposit, and I used this example last night. If I make a deposit at, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I go out that evening and, have some fun with some friends, and I use my debit card at 11 p.m. at night, the next morning the bank will post my withdrawals which were at 11 p.m., many hours, 8 hours after my deposit, which was at 3 p.m., and they will then charge me an overdraft. I should have mentioned that this deposit would have been very close to the end of my, the bottom of my account as far as revenue goes. And I think that that's a practice that is, kind of earns the title gangster, like I was tossing about last night.
Absolutely, I agree. And the bank that I'm actually with did that exact thing about a decade ago. We changed the posting order of certain transactions to benefit the customer more, and it's a selling point that I use.
Yeah, I don't think every bank. I was going to say I don't think every bank has this policy, because I know
no, they
TD
don't.
Bank.
And honestly, Mark, that used to happen a lot, and a lot of banks got wise. But consumers complained to the government, and the government, I'm sure, put some pressure on the banks to do something about it. But
well, admittedly, my information is from I've been married 10 years now, and she really doesn't let me anywhere near the checkbook. But, it's old information, but that's how it was going for me. I got hit, I can't tell you how many times, with overdraft charges because of that bullcrap.
No, absolutely.
Hey, Libertarian Banker, thanks for the info tonight. I appreciate the inside scoop there from inside the business. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I happen to know that the TD Bank does do their deposits in the evening. So after they close, the deposits head off to a processing facility and they get done that night. So I know they don't have that issue. And in fact, to give credit to TD Bank, they're not a sponsor of the show or anything like that, but I've always had great experiences with them. Derek J., you said TD, this sort of multinational bank, it was originally based in Canada.
Right.
You went in there, and even though the local guys said, sorry, we can't give you an account due to this telecheck thing, TD let you have an account.
Yeah, they were able to help me. I don't know what the difference is.
Did they say, hey, you're flagged, but we're going to do this anyway? I mean,
no,
did they even mention it?
No, they didn't make any mention that, I had a less than perfect score. They didn't say that affected anything at all, and they shouldn't. I would think that it would be irrelevant. I'm not asking for credit.
Hold that thought. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, and this is Free Talk Live.
For anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device, MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 21 days by calling 1-800-939-8536. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 21-day in-home trial. 1-800-939-8536. That's 1-800-939-8536.
There are hundreds of silver products on the market today, but there's nothing like the astonishing health benefits of the multi-patented One Silver Solution. Boost your immune system at a great price with our Silver Solution Liquid, starting at $12.95 a bottle. Now available in regular and extra strength. That's half the price of the leading competitors. Call 844-USILVER for your free catalog, or go to onesilversolution.com. onesilversolution.com. There is only one Silver Solution.
Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com. Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
This is Mark of Free Talk Live. We've been witnessing a meltdown of the economic engine that powers our country. With a printing press tethered to Washington bureaucrats and New York central bankers, how can we trust paper money? For years, I've been buying gold and silver from Midas Resources, and you should too. Call 877-357-9938 for a free book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, or go to gold.freetalklive.com. Again, 877-357-9938. 877-357-9938.
Farmers keep livestock lean and healthy with a mineral-rich diet. Then, before market, they cut off minerals, leaving them to crave high-calorie grains. If weight control is this easy, why prescribe surgery for humans? Introducing Youngevity. You could avoid 900 diseases by getting 90 essential nutrients from Youngevity. Check out 90 for Life at tobeyoungagain.com or call 855-79-YOUNG. That's 855-79-YOUNG or tobeyoungagain.com. Youngevity. It's all about saving money, getting healthy, and creating wealth.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Banking nightmares. At least that's what Derek J. had been experiencing for a number of his years in his life after walking out on an $8 overcharge, as I understand it, on his account and figuring there wouldn't be any huge consequence for that. But apparently they blackballed him in some sort of telecheck system that most banks apparently use to run somebody's name before they'll give them an account. And if you've gotten the old blackball, you're done for. You're not getting any account from those banks. But apparently not all of the banks, because you tried again at TD Bank, Derek J.
Yeah,
you
but
weren't dissuaded enough.
Yeah, but that's still not good enough, because every credit card I apply for, even the ones at the regular department stores where they basically give away, like in a Cracker Jack box, so I can't get those either.
You got a wage can
card. My credit
card.
is so bad. Yeah, that's true. A good point. But
Which
that's
isn't
not
really a credit
technically
card.
a credit card.
Yeah, it's a debit card that is funded with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's much preferred. At this point, I'm glad that WageCan and Bitcoin exist, because they provide alternatives for me. I don't need this old system anymore, fortunately.
So let's go to your Mark.
Well, I just wanted to say real quick that part of the reason banks are messed up and they act so similarly to a bunch of gangsters is because the whole model's messed up. A bank should be an organization that stores your money for a fee. But because of the fiat currency system that we have and the way things are designed, people have an expectation that they're going to have free accounts. An account is a service. They're keeping your money safe.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't put your gold coins, you wouldn't expect to get a safe deposit box at a bank to store your gold coins for free. That'd be insane. You might get it if you put enough money into the bank that they can use for interest in a loan or through a CD or something like that.
I thought they were supposed to be competing for your dollars by offering you an interest rate, not charging you a fee, but offering you money for putting your money there.
If you're giving them your money to hand out to loan, like in a CD, a certificate of deposit or something like that, that makes perfectly good sense. If they're just keeping your money for...
But don't they do that with their savings accounts and everything anyway?
Derek J's right. I mean, look, you get a smaller interest rate on a standard account than you do a CD, and that's because they know you could come in anytime and remove the money from the account. I mean, but they're still using that money to loan out at some level.
Like, I don't feel like I'm getting a service when I go to the bank. I don't need all the lollipops and dog bones, Free pens don't really do it for me, and I'm not paying a monthly fee for that.
I don't you're getting me wrong here. A bank should not be lending out stuff you put on deposit. That is sort of it's contrary to what people like. They may understand it, but they believe when they go to the bank that they should be able to get their money back. However, when you understand what a run on the bank is, that means people have gone to get their money and everybody's gone and gotten all the money, and the money's not there anymore.
There's no money left, right? That's the risk of using a bank, is that there could be a run on that bank and you don't want to be caught in that.
Wait a minute, that's not necessarily a bank thing. That's because of fractional reserve banking, it could be that a bank has 100% reserves and that there wouldn't wouldn't affect them.
I suppose you're right, but I highly doubt there are very many banks.
Well, it's mandatory that they have a 10% reserve today because of fractional reserve banking. As far as I'm aware, no bank can vary from that. It has to be 10%. They can't have 100% reserves even if they wanted to.
Really?
That's my understanding of the way fractional reserve banking operates in the U.S.
I mean, I know how fractional reserve banking operates.
Yeah, but it has to be 10%.
I didn't know it was mandatory.
I thought it was fixed.
That a bank had to loan like that. I mean, they would want to. So
well, if they have more money, then they're going to attempt to put out more loans.
Right. So, they can only loan so much out, and I'm sure they keep a certain percentage in reserve for anybody who comes in to empty out their account. But yeah, I mean, there is that chance that there could be a run on the bank, and that's one of the risks involved in using the bank. Let's go to John in Minnesota in the north part listening to WNMT. Hello, John.
Hello. Say, I don't know if you ever heard this saying, a man lives dangerously who trusts his health to a doctor, his rights to a lawyer, his money to a banker, and his soul to a preacher.
I like that.
I like that list.
Yeah, because people, they're trusting in somebody else to take care of their things, which they should take care of themselves. But as far as banks go, you ever hear of Jerry Spence? He's a lawyer, but he wrote a book, From Freedom to Slavery. And in the book, he doesn't take too high opinions of bankers. He calls them banksters. And I think this was written in the early 90s, this book. He wrote From Freedom to Slavery and Makings of a Country Lawyer and How to Argue and Win Every Time.
John, thanks for the recommendations. Appreciate hearing from you tonight. Mike is in Alabama. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mike.
How's it going, y'all?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Fantastic. First of all, I want to preface this by saying I don't really know what party affiliation I have. I follow along with a lot of all of the affiliations ideas. I'm for universal health care. I want stricter immigration rules. I'm for gun rights. So I don't really know where I fall. But
yeah,
I will
you sound like a mess.
I might be, man. I might be. I will tell you that I was at the Trump rally here in Mobile, Alabama. This is where I live. And from what I gathered from all the people in the audience, they weren't really worried about his celebrity status or how much money he has. The general consensus among the crowd, and I'm only speaking for Mobile, Alabama, is that we're just ready for someone who's willing to take care of the Americans in this country, get us out of the hole we're in, because so many of the Americans in this country are struggling. And I personally know a lot of people who are working and working 2 and 3 jobs and still can't get by. So we're just wanting someone, and I think that's why he appeals to a lot of people, is he's speaking to the people who are struggling.
Well, I think Americans are probably in the predicament that they are is because they have been trusting billionaires to pull their fat out of the fire for a long time. Trump's not going to do anything different than what's been come along before. He's just going to be a loudmouth as he does it. I mean, this is the hustle, and nothing's going to change. And I don't think that I personally don't believe Trump's going to go anywhere in the Republican nomination process. I think he's the flavor of the day, as it were.
Well, didn't we fall for the hustle when Obama was in there? Didn't everybody fall for his hustle twice?
Well, I think that once a president's in, it's pretty difficult to get them out. The only one that has been, there's been 2 one-term presidents in my lifetime.
George Bush the first.
George Bush the first, who had a third party. There was basically an independent runs, and he probably wouldn't have lost if it hadn't been for the independent. And the other one was dealing with an extraordinarily bad economic situation, Jimmy Carter. So it's difficult for a president not to get a second go at things.
Well, Mike, what do you want Donald Trump to do for you exactly?
I don't really want him to do anything for me. I'm taking care of myself.
Okay.
What I would like to see him or any candidate, let's have someone step up, and let's make the immigration a little. If you want to come into this country, that's fantastic. But let's do it the right way. Let's do it the legal way. Let's pay taxes like people who are born and raised here, and let's toughen up on that. The fact that we're letting illegal immigrants do whatever they want. That's not even.
What's right about following the diktats of bureaucrats?
Oh, I'm not saying they have to follow the bureaucrats. All I'm saying is as you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, I follow so many different ideologies, and I'm trying to find the parties that I can call home.
Well, there's no ideologies behind most of the political parties, so it's going to be hard to match any kind of ideology up with them. They just sort of float with how the wind blows and what they think people want to hear. But as far as
what comes out of inside the Beltway in Washington, that but we've heard the same thing year after year after year after year. And nothing's getting changed. I don't
know why. I mean, certainly Donald Trump isn't going to be any different than any of the other people that have perpetrated this status quo. But what I hear from you is frustration with these so-called illegal immigrants, and I don't share that at all. I mean, I think everybody is an illegal because we all break the law. We've all broken various different government rules and statutes and ordinances, whether it's speeding in your car or, drinking underage or whatever. Everybody's an illegal from that aspect. And as long as you're not hurting anybody else, there's nothing wrong with being illegal. There's nothing wrong with breaking the government's rules or ignoring the bureaucrats.
It doesn't bother. Let me ask you this: does it not bother you that if you move to Spain, very comfortably, you need to learn their language? It doesn't bother you that a large majority, I don't know everywhere, I live in the South, man. So a large majority of the illegal immigrants that are here, they never try to learn our language.
Is this a problem for you? Like, do you talk to a lot of people who don't know English?
If I go to another country and I want to live comfortably and be a part of that.
But I'm talking about you and your life. Do you encounter a lot of people who just don't know English?
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
I work at a that employs a lot of Puerto Ricans, and I would say 10% of them don't know a lick of English.
Puerto Ricans are Americans, right?
I understand that they are Americans.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You know what? If you want, I can continue this discussion. I think it's an interesting one. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you? Or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom, and with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
Hi, Chuck Woolery here. I don't know about you, but I don't like taking pills for minor arthritis pain, and I don't like those patches either. But I've found something that works. Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. It's a great product. Doesn't smell or burn, isn't greasy, and it works. And Australian Dream has an empty jar guarantee. You can use the whole jar. If you're not happy, you get your money back. But I doubt that you'll send it back, because this stuff works. Australian Dream is available at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart, Target, and other drugstores and supermarkets everywhere.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowitz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallets, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
The Mike Siegel Show on the Future of Talk Radio, GCN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Investors will be watching the Asian markets nervously this evening as the world continues to shudder over the financial problems of both China and Greece. Atlanta law firm worker Samuel Miller says there may be a bit more market correction on Wall Street, so caution is probably a good idea for investors.
It does look like it's going to be going down a little bit, but I'd say it's an okay time to buy. It's not a terrible time to buy, but I would wait a little bit longer before investing a little bit more.
The Dow dipped more than 1,000 points at the opening today, gained ground, and then lost territory again before the close. One economist says U.S. stocks have been primed for a sell-off for several months. The Dow closed down 588 points. Also at srnnews.com, 3 Americans and a Brit who helped foil an attack by a heavily armed man on a high-speed train headed to Paris last week have received France's highest honor from President François Hollande. British hero Chris Norman says the attacker kept struggling until a Frenchman stepped up and helped pin him down.
About that time, a French train driver who was actually off duty in the carriage with us came around the other side and took his left hand. So he was basically immobilized at that stage.
President Hollande says because the actions of the 4 men, veritable carnage was avoided. On the campaign trail today, GOP presidential candidate Ted Cruz says religious leaders are essential to stopping the abortions performed by Planned Parenthood.
Only our pastors, our faith leaders, our church leaders have enough influence to put a stop to this ongoing Holocaust.
Planned Parenthood's been featured in videos by the Centers for Medical Progress showing how body parts of unborn babies are used for research and profit. Again, on Wall Street, the Dow down by 588 points, the Nasdaq dropped 180, the S&P lower by 78, oil down to $38.24 a barrel. This is SRN News.
Brought to you by Whitehead & Associates. Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? If so, you may qualify for a special tax program so you won't make any payments to the IRS. Listen carefully. If you qualify for the CNC tax program, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Get ready as we're going to give you the most important number you may ever need to finally end your IRS nightmare. This toll-free number should only be used if you can't afford to pay any money to the IRS. Call 800-718-4084 now for free information and to see if you qualify for the CNC tax program. Once you're accepted, the IRS must stop all harassing collection activities. Imagine no threatening phone calls, no wage garnishments or bank levies, and no more monthly payments to the IRS. Just call 800-718-4084 now to find out if you qualify for the CNC tax program. Remember, you won't make any payments to the IRS while in this program. Call 800-718-4084 for free information now. That's 800-718-4084. 800-718-4084. Again, 800-718-4084.
A skirmish has broken out in the Maldives after the former President Mohammed Nasheed was sent back to jail following 2 months under house arrest.
Lawyers for Mr. Nasheed, a former human rights and climate change campaigner who became president, are indignant at the fact that he's been sent back to jail. One of his high-profile international attorneys, Amal Clooney, said the government was completely disregarding the rule of law by reversing an earlier decision to commute the jail sentence to house arrest. But the current presidential spokesman, Ibrahim Muaz Ali, told the BBC there had been no such change to his sentence, and a widely circulated document suggesting otherwise was a fake.
BBC correspondent Charles Haviland. U.S. auto safety regulators are investigating some complaints that newer Jeep SUVs can roll away unexpectedly after drivers put them in park. The government says it's received 14 complaints from drivers. This is SRN News. There's been a sharp uptick in buzz surrounding a possible White House bid by Vice President Joe Biden.
Over the weekend, the vice president made an unusual trip from his Delaware home to Washington and back. Here in D.C. on Saturday, he met privately with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who's a rising Democratic star. The meeting was the latest sign that the vice president is seriously considering a presidential bid. And it comes with many Democrats wringing their hands over the email controversy dogging Hillary Clinton's campaign. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The Department of Veterans Affairs says it's received a historic milestone in trimming a massive backlog of disability claims. It reached a record 611,000 claims in 2013. Claims older than 4 months are now said to total fewer than 100,000. The VA says the reduction was achieved with mandatory overtime in the benefits division. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without a Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You're welcome to join the program here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian here.
Derek J.
And Mark.
And just before we went out to the news there, we had a guy on the line. He dropped off. It's a long break. He dropped off the line, but he had been talking about immigration control and restrictions and make sure everybody does it the legal way, the right way. You got to learn the language and go through the process and this and that. And I think one of the things that was important to point out there is that my understanding is that second and third generation immigrants, so the children and grandchildren of people who immigrate here, are
everywhere.
Oh, this is true of everywhere. Okay.
This is going to be more true of all kinds of places.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. The study was done that you and I talked about during the break. It was done in the United States.
This study shows that the second generation immigrants, they know the language. They know the local language. They have learned it by that second generation. The third generation, not only do they know the local language, they tend to not know any of their original tongue.
That's really true in my family. My great-grandmother, Traub, she came over from Germany, and she, my grandmother, she knew very little German. She was raised here in the United States, and there wasn't any particular reason to learn, German. They didn't live in Little Germany, so they lived out in regular. And my mother and I know almost nothing. My uncle did teach me a poem when I was young in exchange for, I don't know, some kind of treat or something like that. But I think I can barely remember it. But this is generally what happens even now, even with Spanish-speaking immigrants. Now, the gentleman who called in, he was voicing in a sort of a very raw and vulnerable way, which I appreciate totally, many of the concerns people have sort of generally in the United States. But one thing I felt was telling is that he says he works with some people from Puerto Rico, Americans, that don't know English. And so his concern was, and sort of that he's living with, is that Americans don't speak English and it bothers him. This is kind of a strange thing. Like in New Mexico, the Constitution is written in two languages. It's written in both Spanish and English, because the fact is that Spanish is an important part of American history. And it's none of my business if somebody doesn't know how to speak English. That's really, it has nothing to do with me and my life. Now, if I've got to wait behind them in the cashier line or something like that, it could probably be kind of irritating. Or if I have to pay for government documents to be printed in 39 different languages, then that's an irritant. But the government is the problem in the second situation. And in the first, it's really the business that isn't providing better customer service by having another line open. Ultimately, if I go to a country, I'm going to try to learn their language, but I'm never going to be good at it. I speak Spanish now, but Spanish speakers know I am not a native Spanish speaker. In most cases, they know. If I've had a little bit of practice, sometimes I can, they'll be like, "What country are you from?" But that's when I'm doing really well. So, this is it. I'm never going to have a heavy American accent, and it's going to confuse native Spanish speakers, and that's that. If I decide to go to some country, I don't need the additional pressure of somebody being like, "Why don't he just learn the language and speak it like he's supposed to?"
Well, you certainly don't need a law forcing you to do anything like that, because you would have an incentive anyway. if you're going to a place where a large percentage of people speak one particular language and you don't speak that language, the natural market incentive is for you to learn a thing or two about it so you can get around and, get from point A to point B and buy things in order to feed yourself and, at the very least, do the bare minimum.
Am I the only one here who doesn't really think this is about language? I don't think it is about language or immigration. I think it's about the economy. I think it's about people saying, I feel threatened. I feel like I'm not making enough money. When times are prosperous, when times are good, I don't see people having these kinds of fights of like, well, there are, these people are different from me, and I don't like having these neighbors who speak a different language.
I don't know, man.
Doesn't it have more to do with the economy? People saying they're taking our jobs, these people are different. It's someone to blame for your hardships. It's someone saying,
a scapegoat.
Yeah, these people are different. They're around. I'm not doing well. It must be their fault.
That's a common thing, and I'm certain it's there's some contribution from that. But honestly, I'm familiar with people in my family and people in my life who've been like, gosh darn it, why are they speaking Spanish? I remember going with.
You're talking about before, a long time ago, from like before the economic crash or whatever.
Yeah, I remember going to Disney World with my grandmother when I was a kid, and her complaining about people speaking another language at Disney World.
So this would have been in the 70s or 80s or something.
Yeah,
it's
probably
a small
the 80s.
World.
A woman who is the child of an immigrant complaining about people who are visiting an international place speaking languages that she can't understand.
Wouldn't she be the most justified in complaining, though, because she assimilated, right? She came from a different... okay. So then she didn't really put in any effort then.
No.
I take it back.
So our toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Ultimately, we got to be able to get along here, and there's no particular reason why somebody needs to speak your language, to make you happy. That's ultimately what it is.
I bought food from a Chinese restaurant where they didn't speak a lick of English.
And remember, most of the countries around, many countries around the world, you live in the United States where it's a luxury to be able to complain that somebody doesn't speak your language. Most countries, you're living in close proximity geographically to people who speak different languages.
That's true.
And you need to be able to provide good customer service by at least knowing a modicum of their language. This is, to some extent, Americans saying, I don't want to learn something new.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you're right from this perspective, Mark, that it's kind of, Americans are lazy because of this. We're so used to having this one language that everybody speaks that we don't really have the incentive to learn a second language, whereas in these other countries, Hong Kong is one in particular where I remember reading an article about waitresses in Hong Kong. If you don't know 3 to 5 languages, you're not getting hired.
Interesting.
As a server.
Yeah, it's like one of the typical kind of anybody jobs.
You would think that's a low-level job,
right?
But that's a pretty high demand. I wonder if maybe emojis could help cross the language barrier. People of all different languages all over the world have smartphones, and these emojis, these faces and pictures that people can use to communicate could really cross over those barriers.
For sure. And also, speaking of technology, changing things, obviously you've got the internet now and Google and translators and things like that. Google has its own translating service, so it's easier than ever to go and read someone's website in a different language. Now, the translations are rough at best, because it's hard to get the nuances of a translation when you're just doing raw automated text translation. But it's there, and it's worth something. And they've even got that app, and I don't know what it's called. I've seen people using it on the internet. I've not seen it in real life, where you can take a picture of text. So let's say a road sign. Let's say you're in China and you're driving somewhere. You take a picture of a road sign. It will translate the picture. So, we're used to selecting text, dropping it into a translate box, and then, having the text translated. But to actually do that with a photograph seems so futuristic. It's this sort of augmented reality thing where you can hold up your little telescreen at the sign, and it will translate that for you. That's incredible technology.
It certainly is. And things are going to change over time as far as that goes. I wonder if it'll make people better or worse at learning new languages, though.
Make them lazier.
Many languages. This is one thing I've always sort of wondered is there's a lot of people out there worried about languages going away. right? Like you'll often hear on news and television, and I shouldn't say news, just radio and TV. You'll hear some story about a language that just has a few older people that use it.
Like Latin.
Well, Latin is gone, my friend.
Yeah,
But I'm thinking of
giving you an example of one that had gone away.
I took 4 years of Latin. These languages remain so long as people are interested in them and learn them.
Yeah, Latin's not spoken, but a lot of people can read it. And so, by
Are
the
you
way,
saying though it's a good thing though the languages are going away? Because it's consolidating?
I think it is.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and I know that this is going to be a pretty rough one, but there's a lot of languages and lots of sort of people all around the world that their languages are going away, and really, what's the value to it? Tell me, please. 855-450-FREE. It's 855-450-3733.
Attention business owners. Do you know the 3 most critical letters in business?
CEO?
MBA?
Nope. Here's a hint. These 3 little letters can make the difference between making a fortune and losing everything.
ROI?
The answer is INC, as in incorporation. Because if you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, you can lose it all. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. Protect your home. Protect your car. Protect your life savings. Call 1-800-941-1029 for your free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Get the 3 little letters that can mean the difference between making a fortune and losing everything. For your free guide, call 1-800-941-1029. That's 1-800-941-1029.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Now, more Free Talk Live. Call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here toll free and bring up anything that you want to discuss. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Don't forget to join us online at freetalklive.com.
If you have a business, you know that IT can be frustrating. It can be unreliable, unpredictable, late, but it doesn't have to be. IT can serve your needs reliably, predictably, and on time. Rootwork Infotech helps businesses achieve always-on reliability, keeping your customers happy and your staff productive. Rootwork can make IT meet your needs, and to prove it, they will give you 30 minutes on the phone with a senior consultant for free to answer any of your IT questions. So they're going to be giving you free information. This is what they're in the information business. They're giving you free information in order to hopefully earn your business. Just go to rootwork.it/FTL to get your free call. It's ROOT work.it/FTL. rootwork.it/FTL.
Coming up, is it inappropriate to kiss your children on the lips? Mark, you've got a story about that. We'll get into that. But first, back to your phone calls and thoughts. John, listening in Vermont, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, John.
Hi. I can hear you guys talk about, immigration. And actually, it seems to be coming up a lot for whatever different reasons in the media. And my thought is that, the whole situation with immigration just seems like a new way for small-minded people to be bigoted. I mean, we're all immigrants. We all moved here at some point and took it from somebody else in every country across the nation or across the world. But, there's a lot of groups now. You can't be, small-minded about a lot of things, but it seems like this little issue, if you don't speak our language or you came from somewhere else, everybody in the country gets to blame everything on you.
I'd say that pretty much sums it up. Yeah,
I think there's an underlying concern that I have that has some level of validity, like you open borders, people, referring to us. If everybody comes here who wants to come here, the nation will collapse under the weight of these poverty-stricken individuals.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we have a statue somewhere in this country that openly invites people to come here pretty freely. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Somewhere nearby, I've heard. Yeah. But it's stupid that all of a sudden everybody gets to get on a high horse and say, well, an immigrant who wasn't exported or who wasn't deported killed a woman out west. Okay, great. Well, yesterday, 365 cops probably killed 365 people. We are deporting them. So a few bad apples, and we all get to make fun of one minority group. But we're not calling it a minority group anymore. It's not they're black. It's not they're Mexican. It's they're immigrants in general.
No. Now they're illegals, which is even more of a sort of just debased kind of terminology that takes as much humanity away from the individual as they possibly can. Now it's just so easy to dismiss an illegal. That's not a human being. It's an illegal.
I think the real problem might be we have to address the amount of free shit the government gives.
You can't say that on the radio, but we're going to have to let you go. But I get where he's coming from, and I can I can't really disagree with anything he said.
Yeah, it's more a problem of socialism than a problem of freedom, allowing immigrants.
I like to say when people say, well, immigrants are going to come here and they're going to take welfare, that and I've said it many times, and I think it's worth pointing out, is like when you put a bowl of cat food out on your front porch every day, and then you complain about cats coming to eat free food, you don't have a cat problem. You're insane.
But Mark, as we discovered this weekend, one of our callers reminded us that even these conservatives, they love government welfare so long as it's for them and their family members. But for the rest of those people around the world, then they get very incensed about the welfare. So ultimately, there's no real principle as far as the people that are complaining about the welfare. They're totally okay with it existing. They don't want to see it go anywhere because, well, we got to take care of the poor people. We had this guy talking about that exact concept here over the weekend, and the suggestion is that you couldn't take care of poor people without government being around.
Yeah, he
It's
suggested that
ridiculous.
if people didn't have arms and didn't have legs, that they wouldn't be taken care of. And I can see why people who have grown up in this paradigm don't believe it's possible, right? Like the last time things like that happened probably was in the early 20th century, the late 19th century, or something like that. But what we need to understand is that I don't know what the numbers of people that are getting welfare, and I know that the amount of corporate welfare is like 10 times regular welfare.
Wow.
But people have concerns in this area, and I think it's worth addressing. Currently, with the welfare system, 70 cents on every dollar goes to middle-class government bureaucrats that administer these systems. When you look at the charitable system, you're talking about 30 cents on the dollar going to their administration. This is already a more than doubling of efficiency. So if you believe that we can only fund half as many people through a charitable system as we would through a government system, I got news for you. We've got extra money left over, because we will just double the efficiency of the system by getting it out of the government's hands.
That's a conservative estimate, Mark. If you actually read Mary Ruart's book, Healing Our World, she talks about how it's her estimate that it could be as many as 8 times the efficiency. And one of the reasons for that is because it's not just like you're doubling it in this vacuum or whatever, where it's not government run and now, or was government run and all of a sudden it's not. When you take the government out of the picture of welfare, you also take away the bureaucratic allocation of the money as well. So the bureaucrats are right now deciding what is important, what should be funded with this money. But if you get to keep the money and then spend it in the way that you think is best on the charities that you think are most worthy, then that is a more efficient allocation as well, because each individual is making decisions based on their individual values instead of some bureaucrat taking in everybody's money and then deciding from on high where is important to send it. So that's a factor, and it's hard to really estimate how wide-cutting or important that factor is.
It's difficult to estimate a lot. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, other things that we can see is that the system itself incentivizes people to do things that are contrary to them building wealth for themselves. For instance, they can't they won't take more hours because then they'll hit this threshold. I recently
They get cut off of the welfare.
Well, they won't get cut off, but they'll lose some of the benefits. And then, basically somebody making, I think it's $29,000 shouldn't take a raise until they get to $66,000, right? When it comes to these benefits. A single mother, I think. A single mother working at $29,000 is going to lose money if she takes a $1,000 a month raise.
So stay on welfare. Let's go to Dave in Montana on Skype. Hello, Dave.
Hey, yo, while we live, let us live, man. Hey, I could talk about this language thing. One of my first memories is my father getting really mad at my grandfather for teaching me Sicilian.
Okay.
And I asked him why, and he says, well, when he was a kid, he had an accent when he went to school, and other kids made fun of him, and he didn't want me speaking another language, and I'd have an accent. And I'd say, no, I wouldn't have an accent. I'd have a English accent. I want, but it was a big deal about not speaking the language in the house because he wanted to stop it and stuff. But I felt like I was cheated, because I could be speaking another language right now, and that's good,
So he was trying to protect you from being made fun of in the United States for knowing a second language?
Yeah, because he was worried about me learning at such a young age another language that I would have an accent, because he had an accent. He was, born, like my grandfather come over, he was with my father.
Thank you, Dave, for your call tonight, man. Appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
I am a 47-year-old female and had a heart attack in 2005. This is Alice from New Jersey. I still get angina, even with 4 stents. I was taking nitro 2 or 3 times a week. The very first day after taking Heart and Body Extract, the chest pain was gone. Now I don't wear a nitro patch.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Are you excited about the World Wide Web? Do you want a place where you can share your ideas and express yourself? Well, dial up your modems and stream on down to the GCN Live Community Forum. Lots of radical features await you there.
Wow, Internet guy, I am so glad I went to the GCN Live Community Forum.
You too can discover why the World Wide Web is awesome. Just go to gcnlive.com/forum. That's gcnlive.com/forum. I'll see you in cyberspace. Friend GCN Live on Diaspora and Cross.tv.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now, online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. LibertyOnCall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your health care. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. LibertyOnCall.org. Call today.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
So I say to Mark at lunch, look, I keep hearing from the government that, they're worried someday ISIS may get here. And I go, duh, Garland, Texas, Muhammad cartoon shooting. ISIS is already here. I'm not waiting for these people to defend me. If they don't know ISIS is here already, they got no clue. I'm taking care of myself. Guns80.com, AR-15 kits, 30-shot magazines, great prices. They've even got the Hillary special. Guns80.com. That's 844-2-GUNS80, Guns80.com.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
This is Free Talk Live, and while we could certainly talk about immigration all night, we do that often enough on Free Talk Live. So I say we move on to the issue that we were going to discuss, which, Mark, you brought in a story about kissing your own children and where it is appropriate to do it. Not in public or whatever, but where as far as on the lips. And apparently, Mark, you are a on-the-lips kisser of your child.
Yes.
Who is
For
7?
how long?
And my mother, too, I'm going to say.
And your mother.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where you learned
You kiss your mother on the lips still?
I do, absolutely. To me, it's important. To me, it feels like it feels more genuine.
This is something your mom did with you, so that's why you're doing it with your son.
Yeah, I'm certain that's the case. And I'll bet you this has to do with sort of families and their preferences.
Are you Italian, or are you from a kissing background?
I have no idea what my mother's, how my mother or my grandmother would have dealt with this. I would have think that I probably kissed my grandmother on the cheek would have been my thought process. So I don't know if, it was the 70s and my mother, sort of upgraded the kissing thing, or I don't know. I don't know the answer how it was in my family, but I can tell you that that's how I was raised, and it feels very normal. And
is it inappropriate to be kissing your children on the lips? The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we'll get into more on that, certainly with your calls if you want to share your thoughts with us. We've got Skype as well, Skype username LRN.FM. If you want to get Bitcoin, then go to expresscoin.com. Bitcoin prices down over the last week or so. Might be a good time to buy in. They're a licensed money services business, and they can hook you up with cryptocurrency. Not just Bitcoin, but they also have Litecoin and Dogecoin. You can get your cryptocurrency with money order or check. Just get started. Whether you're in the U.S. or Canada, you can go to expresscoin.com. That's expresscoin.com. You can do it from your smartphone. They've got an app. Just go to expresscoin.com. And don't forget to use coupon code FTL. That's FTL like Free Talk Live. And you'll get up to $40 worth of cryptocurrency with no fee. I don't know of anybody else or anywhere else you can get Bitcoin for no fee. Expresscoin.com. Use coupon code FTL. Again, expresscoin.com. Mark, you have a story from where about this kissing issue?
Yeah, this is the story is from IJreview.com.
Institute of Justice?
No, that's what I thought too, but it's not.
Okay.
It's entitled, "This Doctor Called Kissing Your Kids in the Mouth Too Sexual." And here's what parents have to say.
All right.
A doctor sparked a fair bit of outrage after being interviewed in an article on a relationship website, Your Tango. UCLA professor Dr. Charlotte Resnick believes that it's inappropriate for parents to kiss their kids on the mouth. "The kiss on the lips can be stimulating," he said. "It's just too confusing. If mommy kisses daddy on the mouth..."
Stimulating for whom?
The kid, I guess. "If mommy kisses daddy on the mouth and vice versa, what does it mean when I, a little girl or boy, kiss my parents on the mouth? If I had to answer when to stop kissing your kids on the lips, it would be now." Parents, many of whom reacted via Twitter, did not agree with the doctor. Coming from Jones K. "Plus, my kids all kiss me on the lips, and I still kiss my parents that way, too. Expert my arse." I kiss my mother, who's 74 years old, on the mouth, and it doesn't mean anything. Ian, what about you? Did your family?
I don't think we did kissing on the lips. I don't recall that happening to me. And I would think that if it did, it would seem normal to me. But I'm in Derek's camp on this. It doesn't seem normal to me at all.
It doesn't seem normal at all?
It seems like something that some people in certain cultures do.
Those ethnic people.
But no, I don't necessarily mean ethnic, but you see it in the Italian mafia movies or whatever, where people will kiss on the lips.
Are we talking about their children here?
I don't know. I really don't know what all the rules are. What do you think, Derek J, about all this?
I gotta tell you, it's so foreign to me that I am repulsed by it.
Repulsed?
Just thinking about it is disgusting to me.
Wow. So I guess I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like, it doesn't disgust me, but it seems a little weird. Like, it doesn't seem like it's appropriate. It seems like you kiss somebody on the lips if you are their lover, not
exactly.
Not that you love them.
I wouldn't kiss my great aunt Phoebe on the lips at dinner parties at Christmas, and I won't kiss my children on the lips. It's a thing for lovers. Kiss them everywhere else. Kiss them on the forehead. Kiss them on the top of their head. Kiss them on the cheek.
My parents would kiss each other on the lips, but I don't think they would kiss us kids on the lips. And so it seemed like, the rule was set pretty early on that this is something that you do if you are someone's spouse or lover or whatever, and that you don't cross that line for the
sensual.
kids.
I would have considered myself as waspy as they come, but I guess this is somewhere, there's a deviation. I remember we talked about this once in the air many years ago, and our co-host at the time, Wayne, he said he doesn't kiss his kids on the lips either. So I guess I'm in the minority here on the air.
Would you feel like you're insulting your mother if one day she went for a kiss on the lips and you just turn your cheek and give her the cheek?
That's an insult.
It
for
would
sure.
be insulting.
Absolutely.
So do you feel like a sense of obligation to continue this ritual?
Less so.
It's tradition. It's not an obligation, and that's why it would be an insult. Is because you've had her kissing you on the lips for your entire lifetime. You're now in your 40s. She's kissed you on the lips for 40-something years, and you to then turn your head away 40 years later is certainly an insulting thing. Like that would be a shock.
Yeah, I'm done with this, Mom. I don't think we need to do this anymore. I'm not a kid.
And, you said it doesn't even matter whether they're a kid or not.
No, it doesn't to me.
Well, now I think that there's if you're kissing somebody on the lips, for me it's a strange thing because I've never really experienced that with a parent-child relationship. But obviously,
I've seen that. It's gross.
I don't think it's inherently sensual. If you were to linger, then it certainly would be.
No, when I see it happening in public, it doesn't seem sensual. But I'm just saying, kisses on the lips
are too much for you.
That's what they're reserved for.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
In my world, and that's why it's unusual. To see
a quick peck on the lips is certainly different from a long kiss.
Right.
It's affectionate and warm, and when I see it, it's usually mothers and their children. But I'm wondering, at what age do you stop? At what age does it become weird? Apparently for Mark, that time never came.
Well, it did. At some point or another, I know I downgraded Mother to the cheek kissing.
Oh.
And then.
Oh, okay. So what happened?
Was this after prison?
I felt like I wanted to upgrade. This is, to me, that's the way you show you really love somebody and you really care about them. And so I'm going back to this because this is the way you're supposed to do it.
You're going back to cheek or going back to lips?
Back to lips. I have,
When did you go to the cheek? Was it before you went to prison or after?
Is it like a teenager or something like that?
Too cool to be kissed on the lips.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And it's like, and then when my mother's visiting me every single week in prison and all those cool kids, nowhere to be found. I'm suddenly realizing that this is the relationship that's important to me. It's among the most important relationships in my life, and I don't want it to be a sort of a downgraded experience. I want it to be I want to show the importance of this relationship, and so that's what I do.
Did you ever taste your mother's breath?
I don't really no, I don't really think so.
Don't you think it's a little too close to the digestive areas? I mean, it's like it's part of eating.
Look,
the mouth is a portal to the body.
I'm with you, but it's what you're saying is that for instance, if you meet somebody and you decide to go home with them from say a bar or what is that Grindr app that you have or whatever, you're probably going to kiss that person on the lips.
Yeah.
Are you going to say that experience? And I'm not suggesting tongue kissing your mother. Are you going to say that person deserves a better experience than the person who supported you for your whole life?
No, I'm saying that certain organs serve certain purposes for certain people. And I reserve my lips as an organ that's for lovers.
Yeah, I think your question was kind of phrased in a very strange way, as though you can even compare those two experiences. It's not a better experience to kiss somebody on the lips as compared to kissing your lover with a French kiss. Those are just two completely separate categories. It's not like like you can't compare how you treat your lover to how you treat your mom. That's kind of weird.
I don't know.
Let's see how you feel. You're welcome to join us here with your thoughts on this.
Since it's about preferences, this is difficult.
855-450-FREE. Is this weird what Mark does? 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
When we ran out, we stopped using it.
Why would you stop?
Why undo all the good that's been accomplished? We thought everything was fine, and that was not a good thing.
No.
He started stinking. It was awful.
Shedding comes back, loss of hair, lots of dandruff.
Scratching will return. His shedding will increase.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite, he would go back to his hair loss.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, When I get to about 3/4.
Oh no, I've got a couple more scoops.
It's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Each and every day she is getting that Dinovite.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dinovite. If it's working, don't quit.
Don't do what I did and run out.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Just recently, we've witnessed some of the most catastrophic disasters in history. Be sure to prepare yourself with great tasting, high-quality, GMO-free food that has a 25-year shelf life. Of course, we're talking about the foods from SurvivalFoodAlliance.com. And don't forget, the human body needs up to 3 quarts of water every day to remain healthy and hydrated. So check out our water bricks at SurvivalFoodAlliance.com. Go to SurvivalFoodAlliance.com or call 877-223-1776.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
You're old enough to tell that something is definitely wrong. You've been paying attention for years and you're ready. You're probably frustrated because your children don't listen to your words of warning. What will you do when your grandkids show up hungry at your door? Get more food storage from Ready Supply Foods. We sell 50% more food for your dollar and we can prove it. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We're the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us here toll free. 855-450-FREE. Is it strange to kiss your kids on the lips? Mark? For him, it's a regular thing. It's just how he was raised and feels totally normal. Derek J. is disgusted by it, and for me, it seems kind of weird. The toll-free number, if you want to comment, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also, if you want to help support what we're doing here with Free Talk Live, then would love for you to become a Free Talk Live amplifier. You go to amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. So amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up there with any major credit card through PayPal. You can use Visa and MasterCard right there on amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month. We'll invest that $5 into Free Talk Live, getting on more radio stations, bringing more internet listeners on board with the show, and thereby spreading the ideas of freedom. So if that's valuable to you and you like what we're doing, please, $5 a month, that's less than the price of a burger and fries pretty much everywhere. So thank you in advance to everybody who amps the show. You get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, AMP-only Facebook group, and more. Go get signed up over at amp.freetalklive.com. Now, Mark, there is some doctor at a university who is chastising parents who are kissing their kids on the lips. Just a quick bus on the lips. He's saying that's a problem.
Well, I would say that he's been asked, and
he said, "Stop now if you're doing it now."
He said, "If I had to tell people when they should stop kissing their children, I'd say you should stop now." Which is a person who's kind of like having the answer drawn out of them, as it were. But
he says it's too sensual.
Yep, that's some of the terminology he's using. But there's a lot of tweets that are coming out in response to this. But many other doctors and psychologists agree with the parents, saying, and these are the parents tweeting things like Dylan saying, "Don't kiss your kids in the lips. It's too sexual. I don't want to live on Earth anymore."
Oh, come on. Can't you kiss your kid anywhere else? Is that much of an issue? I really have to kiss my boy on the lips. It can't be anywhere else. I can't kiss him on the forehead or the cheek. I really need to kiss him on the lips. That's the only way that I can show affection.
Yeah.
Come on, doctor, don't take it away from me.
It just sounds to me, Derek J., when you're saying this, is like the doctors that used to tell the parents when the kids are crying in the other room, don't go to them because it'll spoil them.
I've heard that. That's not true?
Yeah, that's not true.
No, because it makes sense, right? If you cry and then you come running, then they know that you'll come running every time they cry, right?
Yeah, I don't follow the analogy.
Yeah, it sounds like one of these affection withdrawal methods that are put out there by, they only listen to experts in this movement.
Withdrawal? What are you talking about? All I'm saying is you can kiss your kid. You can kiss them anywhere. But the lips, it's weird. And if you insist on kissing on the lips, like it's not good enough to kiss them anywhere else, then it's really weird.
So do you, if there were enough, like I'm wondering about your opinion on this. So if there are enough doctors and psychologists or whatever that said that it was a good idea to kiss your kids in the lips, would you think it was a good idea? And that
no,
maybe
it's not about their opinion. It's about mine. And I'm right and they're wrong.
Excellent. Clinical psychologist Sally Ann McCormick spoke to The Sun about the notion that parents should refrain from doing this. There's absolutely no way that kissing a young child on the lips is confusing for them in any way, she said. That's like saying breastfeeding is confusing.
She did qualify that with a young child.
She did, yep.
Right? So obviously she's not here to answer this. It's just like a tweet response or whatever. But would she say the same thing about a teenage person?
That it's confusing? I'm 44. Is it confusing to me? I don't feel confused about kissing my 74-year-old mother on the lips.
I think you're a little confused.
Okay,
I guess you could. I guess you could argue that you would be less likely to be confused as a teenager, right? Like it'd be pretty clear that that's your mom, and
considering at that point you're
whatever.
basically an adult, you probably have it all parsed out as how things are supposed to go. Anyway, it's like breastfeeding is confusing. Some people might have issues with it, but it isn't any more sexual than giving baby a back rub. Dr. Paul Hokemeyer agreed while speaking at Yahoo Parenting. It's important that parents keep and maintain boundaries with their children, certainly, but in terms of expressing affection, this feels within the realm of normal. And I think that that's what it is what is the realm of normal? In this group, what we've talked about here, nobody's called in to express me as normal, but I'm sort of feeling abnormal, right? Like what seemed so normal to me up until a few hours ago today, now you guys who maladjusted, you don't think so? It's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. So what age, Ian, you think it's fine for a small child? What age do you think it should stop?
I didn't say I have I don't think it's wrong necessarily to do that. I'm not as repulsed by it as Derek J. So I wouldn't say that there's any age it should stop at. I think that if that's the thing that you do with your family and that's what you feel comfortable doing, then by all means, it's your business. You keep doing it. In my opinion, I don't have an opinion about how you should raise your kid in this way. That's up to you, man. I'm just saying, for me, it seems strange because I didn't grow up with that. And I'm sure if I did, I'd be on your side and, looking askance at Derek J. like, oh, you missed out. Your parents didn't love you as much or whatever. But I don't think that's true either. I don't think that a parent loves their child more if they kiss them on the lips versus on the cheek or the forehead. I think that it's all affection, and affection's a good thing to show the people that you love. whether it's your lover or your children or your family.
Victoria says, am I the only one who gets extremely creeped out when a parents kiss their kids on the lip? I can't be.
Nope, she's not the only one.
Bloody Mary, who doesn't sound maladjusted at all, says, I might be a perv, but not kiss my kids on the lips. Let's see. I might be a perv, but not kiss my kids on the lips level perv.
Oh, I get you.
I'm sorry, I wasn't quite ready for that one, I guess.
She's suggesting that one is a pervert if one kisses kids.
She says that she's a pervert, that one is a greater pervert than a woman who has called herself Bloody Mary on the internet.
I don't agree that it's perverted. It's just a thing that some people have done traditionally, I think, and it's like strange to me, but that's all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think these people are trying to be creepy or weird or take advantage of kids or anything. It seems like they are just generally giving affection. But I don't know.
Icky.
Maybe it's just a cultural thing. First of all, I'm kind of a germaphobe. So, like, going anywhere near lips, I don't even shake hands. I like to do the fist bump thing.
Oh, really?
You know? So, like, kissing a child, first of all, they're putting things in their mouth all the time. You don't know where those stuff have been.
I'll give you
You're
that.
going to get diseases from these kids if you're kissing them on the lips.
I've got to, when I'm going to work and everybody's getting their kiss on the way out the door, right? My son's often eating something. This can be a less than pleasant experience
you go to
for
work
daddy.
downstairs.
I come to work at 6 o'clock at
Oh,
night.
right. Okay.
When I leave the house, I kiss my family because it may be the last time I see them.
Well, at least this way you'll know if your kid's ever drinking. You'll taste the beer on his breath.
So here we go. There's a poll at the end of this that I forgot about.
And where was this from again?
This
What
is
website?
from ijreview.com.
Okay.
But you can go to our Facebook page at facebook.freetalklive.com. Well, I've got it posted up there, and there's 44 comments on it already. So it's pretty busy. So what do you think? Which is more common? You guys? Or
which is more
let me
common,
ask the
kissing on
question.
the lips or on the cheek / forehead?
I don't
elsewhere?
have an answer to that, actually. I have here's a question because it could come out differently. This isn't
okay.
Is it wrong to kiss your children on the lips?
This is the poll question.
This is the poll question.
I would say no.
Yes, it is wrong.
Well, 14% of the people, and I love these folks, that just cannot commit, right? It depends on the context.
Why even take the poll? I don't know. All right, then just scroll on.
Yeah, of course it depends on the context, you wishy-washy, namby-pamby people. Yes, French kissing your kid, holding down your kid and French kissing them is wrong. I'll give you that. But that we don't need a depends on the context link for that. Right?
We're not talking about child molestation here. We're talking about a quick buss on the lips.
Right. And so now only 13% of people have been willing to say yes, it is wrong.
Wow.
Now,
so that would be your answer then, right, there, Jay?
Yeah.
Because this question separated you, Ian, because sort of you wouldn't do it, but you don't think it's wrong.
Yeah,
So
I don't think it's wrong. It's your kid. You can do whatever feels right to you.
I'm curious as to how many people would consider it sort of just whether or not it's normal, I guess. And some of them are going to say,
is it normal? I would say it's not normal.
How do we know? 73% of people say no, it's not wrong.
They just said it wasn't wrong, not that it was normal.
73% is a big number, though.
I say it is normal based on only my experience, right? Observing people kissing their children over my entire life. I'm sure I've seen someone kiss their kids on the lips.
You avoid children like they have the bubonic plague.
That's not true. I've been to plenty of places where there are kids and their parents around them.
Anyway,
my point being that I just don't see it. Do you see it very often, Derek J., people kissing their kids on the lips?
No. And I think it looks like a baby bird being fed a pre-chewed food.
All right. You can share your thoughts with us here. You may dial toll-free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Do you see this very often? I certainly have not. This is Free Talk Live.
When the leading antihistamine and Nasacort go nose-to-nose, Nasacort wins, stopping more of the chemical responses that can cause your nasal allergy symptoms. And when you stop more causes, you get 24-hour relief from sneezing, an itchy runny nose, even congestion. It's prescription-strength medicine available over the counter. Nasacort Allergy 24-hour. Stops more of what makes you miserable. Use as directed.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit Retail Me Not.
And we're mindful of that.
When the US saw the
Talk Radio Countdown on the future of talk radio. GCN.
a rare step over the weekend of ordering an immediate review of the war plan to defend the South.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Stocks continued their downward trajectory today after partially recovering from an 1,100-point drop at the opening of trading this morning. The Dow closed down 588 points after a roller coaster ride. Market analyst Alan Valdez says there's a lot feeding into this market turmoil.
There's no good news, and the bad news is from pick a place in the world, we're getting it. China, of course, we know what's there. Emerging markets having trouble. Europe's having trouble. Greece, we all know about that.
Valdez says this is a tough stretch, but it won't be devastating in the long term.
Overall, it's just bad news, but not news where we're going to go into a depression and people are going to be on the streets selling apples.
Global investors are worried about the prospect of a devastating financial slump in China, the world's second biggest economy. Also at SRNnews.com, with growing speculation about a possible Joe Biden presidential campaign, the White House is trying to stay neutral for now.
Spokesman Josh Earnest won't say whether President Obama wants his vice president to enter the 2016 race. However, he touted Biden's experience and said the president believes picking Biden as his running mate was his smartest political decision.
And I think that should give you some sense of the president's view of Vice President Biden's aptitude for the top job.
Earnest left open the possibility that the president would endorse a candidate in his party's primary. Greg Clugston, the White House.
France's President Francois Hollande presented 3 Americans and a British man with the nation's highest honor today after they tackled a heavily armed suspected Islamic terrorist on a high-speed train. One of the Americans, 23-year-old Airman Spencer Stone, will be receiving medical treatment in Germany for his wounds sustained in that scuffle.
Airman Stone will be receiving additional medical treatment at Lawrenceville Medical Center in the coming days.
That's Pentagon spokesman Captain Jeff Davis. And again, on Wall Street, the Dow down by 588 points, the Nasdaq dropped 180, the S&P lower by 78. This is SRN News.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-573-2467. That's 1-800-573-2467. 1-800-573-2467. Or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Now learning a very difficult weekend for the U.S. military.
Target Corporation agrees to pay $2.8 million to settle a hiring discrimination claim.
The discrimination claim was filed by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The commission found 3 different employment assessments formally used used by the retailer disproportionately screened out applicants for professional positions based on race and gender. In addition, the EEOC says the tests themselves were not sufficiently job-related and that an assessment performed by psychologists violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. A statement by the EEOC says thousands of people were adversely affected by Target's hiring practices and that the settlement money will be divided among them. Linda Kenyon reporting.
Oklahoma's governor will be appointing someone to succeed Mark Costello as the state's labor commissioner. Costello was stabbed to death over the weekend. Police arrested his 26-year-old son, who they say stabbed Costello to death at a fast food restaurant in Oklahoma City. This is SRN News.
War plan to defend South Korea.
Americans appear to have growing concerns over the use of standardized tests in schools.
Over half of all Americans question the importance of using standardized tests to rate teachers, according to a new Gallup poll. The numbers were even higher among parents of public school students. A full 63% oppose linking teacher evaluations to test scores. The tests have played a big role in rating schools under the former No Child Left Behind program and the Education Department's Race to the Top grants. Nearly half of all public school parents think they ought to be able to excuse their children from taking standardized tests.
Wally Hines reporting. A white supremacist charged with killing 3 people at 2 Jewish sites in the Kansas City area has given an opening statement at his capital murder trial. Fraser Miller has said he was trying to kill Jews, but all 3 of the victims turned out to be Christians. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
Everyone says or does something silly once in a while, but once that embarrassing thing is on the internet, it can spread like a terrible rash. Put it to rest. Get a free expert analysis today from Reputation.com. It only takes 30 seconds. 800-831-0771. We protect your online image by helping to make sure that when people search for you or your business, they find the most current, accurate information possible. Reputation.com. Because word travels fast. Call for a free analysis today. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour. We got plenty of time for you. If you want to join us here at 855-450-FREE, that's 855-450-3733. Is it weird to kiss your kids on the lips? That was what we were discussing in the last hour. I actually threw the question out on our Facebook and Twitter, and I'll read some of the responses here. In the studio, it's Ian,
Derek J.,
and Mark.
And Derek and I, we're in the camp of, I think it's a little strange. Derek, you think it's gross to kiss kids on the lips. And Mark, you think it's totally normal. This is how you were raised. It's like totally normal for you.
Yeah.
Apparently, Derek J. and I, while we may be in the majority in the studio, not so much on the internet responses thus far. Now, I only had this up for less than about 15 minutes. So we only got a handful of responses, but here they are thus far. My question was, is it weird to kiss your kids on the lips? Mike responds. Mike Willamy says, yes, how dare you show kids affection? Richie Rodarte says, Rodarte.
It's not... That argument is not the same. Why don't you tweak your kids' nipples? Would that be affection? Why not? How about you treat your mother that way? You just want to show her affection, right?
Richie Rodarte says, no, it is not your kid. No, it's not. It's your kid, only weird to people who sexualize it. Laura Rosa says, it's the weird perverts that are covering their own issues that find it weird. So she's suggesting we're covering our issues, Derek J. with this.
Okay.
Andrea Capwell says, this question is the only weird thing I see around here. So they're all on your side, Mark.
I guess.
What's with the accusatory tone? Why do they throw... I guess because they feel
accused.
threatened?
They feel accused.
Okay. Yeah, well,
He
I
didn't
guess.
ask, is it weird not to kiss your kids on the lips?
I asked,
he
is it
asked
weird
if
to
weird
kiss your
two kid. So therefore,
Yeah,
putting
so
together kiss your kids on the lips and weird in the same question. So
They're like,
yeah.
I'm not weird, you're weird. I
Well-
just love my kids. So what if I pull their pants down and spank them, and I enjoy that?
I find that weird too. Spanking is very strange.
Yeah, I mean, well, where's the limit? What other sexual things do people do with their children? I mean, kissing is a sexual thing, right? You
Not
don't
necessarily.
Chaperones on dates are there to prevent people from kissing, right?
I don't think it's sexual necessarily. That's one of the. I guess it's one of the differences
No,
between you and
it's
I. on
not.
this.
I know that the parents who are kissing their kids aren't doing it in a sexual way. I know that.
So
But
a
I'm
kiss by
saying
default
that-
is not sexual. If it's
No,
done, a quick,
that's right.
A
That's
quick
right.
peck
Right.
is certainly not sexual.
It's not inherently sexual, no. But I'm just saying, how long are you going to do that? For what age? You know, what's it going to teach the kid about affection? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just, hey, this is how I'm affectionate. I think it's a little too personal.
Yeah, I don't think it's doing anybody any harm. I don't feel like, there's nobody who's saying I was damaged by my parents kissing me on the lips as a child or as an adult. Apparently, Mark and his mom still perform that, and she's in her 70s now. So I don't think that maybe there is somebody out there who would say that, but I've never heard that claimed. Of course, then again, I don't really know very many people who were raised in that way. Mark, you are the only person I know of necessarily that I can think of offhand that does that.
I think a lot of people do it up into a certain age. Like at some point or another, they just sort of transition over from kissing their kids on the lips to kissing their kids on the cheek or the forehead or something like that. And, but I guess that's their business too.
So if you want to share your thoughts, you can. 855-450 free. Otherwise, let's change gears and go to Yelp, which is apparently now, according to Derek J., you'll be sharing some information with us about Yelp. It's an app. It's on, I'm sure, iPhone and Android.
Oh, yeah. It's been around forever and ever. It's an
There's
app
a website.
Yeah.
Right. You can rank restaurants and businesses and things like that. At least historically, that's what you could do with Yelp.
Yeah, it's social media for things to do in a geographical area. So you can go onto Yelp and you can find dining experiences, or I think even other things like bars and anyway, so that's what people use it for most of the time, are businesses in the area that they're looking for.
And now there's a
Yelp
new feature?
just announced it will start letting you write reviews about the government. Even though no one is pleased, writes John Vibes over at theantimedia.org, even though no one is pleased with the service they receive from federal agencies like the TSA or the IRS, there's no real recourse for anyone who's dissatisfied with their service. That's, of course, because the government agencies are monopolies by design, meaning...
Does he say that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
He writes this.
I just love it when people acknowledge that governments are agencies that claim a monopoly, because they're agents. There's a great Barack Obama bit out there where he says he calls the nation state a monopoly on violence, and this is really accurate, because without the claim of the monopoly on violence, you wouldn't have the ability to enforce whatever it is. No one would ask the government, no one would actually want this agency, the government, to do whatever work it does unless it was able to force other people to do it too. Because it's really bad at everything it does. The only thing it can sort of do well is point at somebody, a gun at somebody, and say, you better pay up or your butt's going to jail, or we're going to take your house away from you.
Well, that's the case for these government agencies. People don't have a choice. And so John Vibes writes, it's because government agencies are monopolies and they don't have to worry about losing their customers to another company. Their customers are essentially forced to do business with them because it's illegal for people to offer alternatives. Nothing has changed about that arrangement at all, except now you can complain about it on Yelp. That's right. The powerful app that allows people to rate the service they receive from private businesses is now allowing users to make comments about federal agencies. Apparently, this move is actually being welcomed by politicians, but is highly possible that they have no clue what they are calling for.
Yeah, they don't know what's coming.
What they're getting into?
Yeah, what they're getting into. So Yelp released an official statement this week on its blog. They said, quote, "We are excited to announce that Yelp has concluded an agreement with the federal government that will allow federal agencies and offices to claim their Yelp pages, read and respond to reviews, and incorporate that feedback into service improvements. That's really going out on a limb. Sure, Yelp, I'm sure they'll get right on improving their service.
It's a nice idea, but they don't have the incentives to improve service, unlike, of course, people in the market that actually have competition where if you can go to another restaurant, you'll do that if you get bad service. Whereas with the government, if you get bad service, too bad for you. Now, I have to say, I'm looking here at Yelp, and they do have a local services / public services and government category.
Hey!
And under that category for our very own Keene, New Hampshire, I see the Keene Public Library, which has a 5-star review.
All right.
The Cheshire Superior Court, which surprisingly has no reviews whatsoever.
Oh, I'll get right on that.
I bet they're going to have one soon.
The Safety Department, which is the state police, they have 1 review, and it's actually 4 stars. So I don't know how new all of these are. Maybe they were just recently added in, but I don't see any federal government agency on this list. So maybe that's because there aren't a lot of federal buildings here in Keene, New Hampshire. But it seems like there's maybe some local government stuff going to be involved in this too. Maybe it's not just going to be a Fed thing, which would be nice. It'd be nice to be able to see people reviewing the local governments.
I don't know how much this expands to federal or local governments, but Yelp continued on their website. We encourage Yelpers to review any of the thousands of agency field offices, TSA checkpoints, national parks, Social Security Administration offices, landmarks, and other places already listed on Yelp if you have good or bad feedback to share about your experiences. Not only is it helpful to others who are looking for information on these services, but you can actually make an impact by sharing your feedback directly with the source. Well, I don't know how much of an impact you're going to have, actually. But
probably not going to make an impact. But
I did see one tip that was very helpful. So one person rated their local DMV office.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "This place is terrible. I ended up getting a 1-star review. I ended up getting a AAA membership to use their DMV. There needs to be a better system in place for the amount of people, blah, blah, blah." And she goes on with her review.
AAA gets its own DMV?
That was my point. I was like, I didn't even know this was possible.
What
and
does
here,
that mean?
Look at this woman in San Diego, California. She's found some sort of way to escape the DMV.
What does that even mean?
Well,
I don't even understand.
I needed to look at her Yelp review to find that out. I didn't even know it was possible to skip the DMV.
So, I think the value of this is it could help inform other people who are reading the reviews.
Exactly.
But as far as making the government work better, that's probably not going to be the case. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to purse.freetalklive.com and open an account. Do this right now, don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to purse.freetalklive.com right now and get signed up and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 25% off of everything on Amazon through purse.freetalklive.com. It's purse.freetalklive.com.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power. A gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Now, more Free Talk Live. Call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
This is Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us here on the radio waves, whether you want to talk about the appropriateness or inappropriateness of kissing your kids on the lips. We've gotten some more people weighing in on our Facebook question about that, or you can discuss whatever happens to be on your mind. Yelp apparently now allowing for government agencies to be reviewed, which I think is great news, not because I think that, as Yelp suggests, that it's somehow going to encourage the government to make things better, but because it'll help share information about those government agencies with the other users of Yelp. And of course, that's what the true value of Yelp is to give people a heads up on bad businesses and now bad governments. And I imagine there's going to be all kinds of negative reviews rolling in for these government agencies once people start to realize that they can leave those reviews. Although right now, I was looking over at Yelp.com, and when you go to the main page, there's like a list of categories that, or I guess once you type in your location, I apologize. So you type in your location, you search for that, and then they give you the ability to browse. You have to hit more categories, and then public services and government comes up. And it's actually, the word government is like cut off, so it's not the most obvious thing that you can search for government agencies here. But sure enough, they did have the TSA checkpoints in there, and you can tell this is brand new.
Who feels well served there?
Yeah.
Because everybody in line will tell you, I'll give up all kinds of groping of my special parts for a little bit more freedom and no dead kids. But
they say that.
I saw a meme recently on Facebook. I don't know the validity of it, but it sounds right. 400 TSA agents arrested so far for theft. 0 terrorists stopped. I don't know about the first number, but I'm certain about the last. That TSA has never stopped a terrorist attack. It's just a water bottle confiscation government bureaucracy.
So, maybe if the TSA could kiss people on the mouth, that would help their searches.
I'd prefer that not happen to me.
Might help their ratings.
Maybe
their reviews.
So check that out over at Yelp. That's good for them. I think that's a good move. I'm glad to see them doing that. Although, again, it's brand new. So right now, the TSA checkpoints in Manchester, New Hampshire have 0 reviews. And they actually have 3 different checkpoints listed. So I guess each checkpoint in the airport can get a separate review, apparently. So that's
Line D.
Interesting. Anyway, you can join us here, 855-450 free, and here are a few more of the comments from our Facebook page. The question I asked was, is it weird to kiss your kids on the lips? And the first 4 responses were saying, no, it's definitely not weird. They said that it was weird for me to even ask that question because the suggestion is that weird perverts are the ones covering their own issues that find it weird. But then they
obviously don't know you if they think that that's weird for you to ask that question.
The remaining comments here on this question include Ricky Kotzmeyer, who says, it's weird. And then he names his parents and says, don't even try it. Gregory David says, yes, it's creepy. Scott Kotzmeyer says, ew, I don't know where that mouth has been.
Is that the father of
either of them?
The other guy?
I think so.
Yeah.
Lee Hatcher says, I kissed my dad up to 2 days before he died on the lips.
Ugh.
And when he died, I kissed his forehead before he was removed from his apartment.
Oh, great.
I still kiss my mom on the lips and my daughters, so no, there is nothing wrong with it.
Well, he's got really high standards, right? He kisses dead things. So, let's take this guy's word.
Why not
let's set him as the example for everyone to follow.
Why insult the corpse? I mean, if you kissed he kissed his dad his entire
how about
life.
we put the corpse in the ground? Maybe that's the right thing to do with it.
Look, whatever
so it doesn't disease everyone else.
Whatever disease the corpse has shortly after its death is the same disease as it had before it died.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been kissing it then either.
I can assure you that you're in a room full of disease-carrying primates.
That's true.
Well, I won't kiss you too either.
Thanks.
Hey, so apparently North Korea, South Korea, they are back from the brink of war, at least for the moment. There was a story I had last night. We didn't get to it. Yeah, there were some serious kind of warmongering moves going on over the last
What were they doing?
few days. They have finally reached an agreement to de-escalate the tensions on the Korean Peninsula.
Well, wait a minute. What happened? Were they throwing things at each other?
They were actually, the South Koreans were throwing words at the North Koreans. They are broadcasting with loudspeakers and I believe probably radio transmission as well. But the North Koreans specifically demanded that they shut off the loudspeakers that were broadcasting South Korean propaganda over the border to North Korea.
South Korean propaganda over to North Korea?
Sure. You didn't know they did that?
So what do they say? Like, hey, your leader is not really
You got a short little chubby leader.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a dumb haircut.
And so North Korea's like, turn that off, or this means war. Okay.
And so apparently, the story I had yesterday, and I guess I should have pulled that one up. I figured that this one is going to give us a quick summary of the tensions. But essentially, that was what upset the North Koreans. They then started to sort of rattle the saber, so to speak. They put their troops on alert. There was another headline today about how North Korean submarines have disappeared from their docks. The suggestion being that they might be out hunting ships or something like that. No, I don't. Well, I guess you're suggesting they're so bad at maintaining their equipment that
my favorite is the picture of Kim Jong-un on this like wooden boat. Like North Korean Navy sets sail. I've used it a few times just because it amuses me.
South Korea will get the apology it demanded over recent military escalation by the North, and in return, the South will stop broadcasting propaganda that infuriated the North Korean government. They, in North Korea, they say they regret that South Korean soldiers were injured by landmines and has lifted their semi-state of war under an agreement by the two countries.
I can't believe North Korea said they regret that South Korean soldiers were injured by landmines. I can only imagine.
At first they were denying they were their landmines.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. I wonder what they're telling their people, because
they're probably not telling them anything.
If they're telling them anything, then they're telling them that South Korea has apologized for its aggressions against them or whatever.
Maybe. South Korea will stop its propaganda broadcasts over the border on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. This according to the Yonhap News Agency. I wish we can build the new South and North Korea relationship that our people wish for by sincerely carrying out the agreed issues and building trust through dialogue and cooperation, said Kim Kwan-jin, now South Korea's national security chief. During the meeting, he continued, it is very meaningful in the aspect that the North apologized over the landmine incident and that they agreed on making efforts to prevent such incidents from reoccurring and easing the tension. So that was one of the things that had kicked off the tensions. And I had heard about that. And, of course, the initial response from North Korea was, well, we didn't plant those landmines, which, of course, would suggest that they were saying the story was that South Korea planted the landmines and then sent their own military members over them, basically. North Korea, through its state-run Korean Central News Agency, confirmed the agreement had been reached, and South Korean President Park Geun-hye had demanded Pyongyang apologize for recent provocations, including the landmine blasts that wounded 2 South Korean soldiers this month, saying, quote, "This is a matter of national security and safety for our people. It is not a matter where we can back down, even if North Korea maximizes its provocations and threatens security like it did in the past." But they are backing down from putting their propaganda over the border, so I guess it's a good thing. People aren't going to be going to war, at least anytime soon in the Koreas, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anyway, our toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Apparently, North Korea fired shells over the DMZ last week, aiming them at the loudspeakers, blasting those messages. We'll continue with the discussion here. You can join us at 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. Bring up anything.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowicz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state in back taxes, you know they'll never stop coming after you. With bank levies, wage garnishments, they'll even seize your home or business. The good news? A government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative.
I'm Paul Sibley with U.S. Tax Shield. We can help navigate the new laws, get you protected, and resolve your tax issues permanently.
Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield now for your free consultation and get a guaranteed quote to resolve your case. Call 800-436-6451. That's 800-436-6451.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Join us here on the radio waves. Toll free, 855-450-FREE. The latest from North and South Korea that appears that there's a backing down of the tensions that had escalated relatively quickly over the last week after North Korea fired shells at South Korean loudspeakers that are blaring propaganda over the border. This after a situation that developed where South Korean soldiers were injured from apparently landmines that had been planted somewhere that Pyongyang initially denied being involved with planting, but now have apparently apologized for. And so things have sort of backed down from the brink of all-out war between the Koreas. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you care about privacy while you're on the internet, you need ProXPN. ProXPN is a virtual private network, and they encrypt your online data before it gets to your internet service provider. And that means your own internet service provider won't know what you're doing online anymore as soon as you start with ProXPN, which you can do right now by going to proxpn.com. And when you're ready to upgrade to their premium account, you can use code FTL50. By the way, ProXPN does not keep logs of your activities whatsoever, and they got more servers than ever before. They're running OpenVPN, the gold standard of network encryption. And whether you've got Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, or Linux, they can help you protect yourself online. So go to proxpn.com, use code FTL50, and you'll save 50% off the regular monthly price for the lifetime of the account when you buy an annual account with that code FTL, like Free Talk Live, FTL50. And that brings the price down to about the price or less than the price of a good cup of coffee. Go to proxpn.com, use code FTL50, take back the privacy. That is your right. Let's go to Will in Tennessee. He's on Skype.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, wait. You know what, Will? We've got some sort of audio going on here. I'm going to put you on hold for just a moment. This is one of the difficulties of doing radio with...
Need a producer in-house to handle all these things.
But in this case, it was the South Korea video that was playing, and now it should be fixed. Will, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was hoping to instigate a discussion of private property rights between you gentlemen and your listeners for the last half hour.
Okay.
I've been doing, with the work that I do, I get exposed to lots and lots of news stories, particularly from conservative-leaning news publications, groups like Jihad Watch or Conservative Tribune, Western Journalism, IJ Review, and I've noticed that they've really been big on the private property issue lately, with the the Jan Morgan story, or the gentleman in Florida with the Muslim-free gun range, or the lawsuits over gay wedding cakes, the lawsuit over the Abercrombie and Fitch with the young Muslim lady who sued Abercrombie and Fitch, and all of them are beating the drum of the right of a business owner on their property. But then I saw a news story that came out a few days ago about a young lady named Heidi Grubb. And I had the opportunity to read the reactions of these same sources like Jihad Watch, Conservative Tribune, etc. And it seems to me that we've now shifted gears away from the right of a business to freely associate or dissociate from an individual based on whatever they choose. Miss Grubb went to work one day and was in a conversation with a fellow employee where she was overheard by customers cursing. Along with that, Miss Grubb had plastered on her vehicle papers that she had written and taped to the windows of her car, which were also littered with expletives in a quote-unquote family establishment like a shopping mall. Well, now Ms. Grubb has been relieved of her position for these actions and banned from the property of the mall for 1 year. And now these same publications who were condemning the use of lawsuits and were extolling the rights of businesses to freely associate or dissociate are now pushing for lawsuits against the Northgate Mall for their action to fire an individual who used inappropriate language in front of customers, along with plastering her vehicle in their parking lot with the same kind of language.
I'm surprised. I would think that these organizations and their and their social conservatism would be like, yes, keep the darned cusser out of the mall property.
Well, the problem is the target of her ire was the Muslim community. Oh. She was talking about defecating on the Quran, pissing on the Prophet Muhammad, and F your religion, all these kinds of things.
Yep.
So now, because of the fact that it's a business that has disassociated itself with an employee for a reason that violates their conservative viewpoints, suddenly the right of private property and the right of businesses to freely associate or dissociate is out the window.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just goes to show these people don't have any principles.
Yeah.
I was hoping to invoke a discussion of private property because I know a lot of the people who read those types of publications also listen to the radio stations that you guys are on. So I thought a factual and principled discussion of private property rights would be something that these people really, really needed to hear.
Yeah, so how about it? Do you stand beside your principles of the right of businesses to do what they want on their property, or do you use these principles as a duck blind? Do you hide behind them until it's an opportunity to get out and start shooting? And that's what it sounds like some of these organizations have been doing.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And I'm going to hang up because you asked the question and let hopefully the audience chime in and you gentlemen as well.
Thanks, Will, for bringing that up. I mean, I don't really know what I have to add to that. It seems pretty clear to me that somebody who on one hand supports private property rights and then when somebody does something with their private property rights they don't like, they all of a sudden turn against that concept and they start making demands. Then clearly they never had a principle to begin with and didn't understand what private property is really all about. And, you should be able to do with your private property what you want, so long as you're not causing damage to someone's person or their property. Meaning, like, you can't pollute your land because the, rainwater or whatever is going to take that pollution over into somebody else's land, for instance. So, yeah, you can't really do everything you want, but as long as you're not damaging others.
Isn't it legitimate for the mall to prohibit someone from their property that they don't want there?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, well, is that the private property that you were talking about, or this woman's car?
Well, that woman can do whatever she wants in her car, just so long as she doesn't use it as,
She just can't bring it onto that property.
If that's what they say. If the mall wants to brand themselves as the kind of place where, they cuss up a blue streak about somebody's religion, then fine and dandy. They can do that too. It's all their business as far as I'm concerned. And if you've got, got some ideas on this, the number is 855-450-3733. Or you can call us on Skype like Will did. Our username is lrn.fm 855-450-FREE.
Yeah, maybe you think that this lady should be able to keep her job and that you're not too concerned with the rights of private property. And I think that, it is their choice. They should be able to make that decision, and then the market should decide whether or not they continue to receive business from other people. In my case, I'd be happy to find out that someone banned some bigot from their private property. I would be more likely to go and shop at that place, although not a huge fan of shopping at malls.
Yeah, there's not really nothing that's going to make me shop at malls. Yeah. I'm just not that big of a mall shopper.
Good for them, though, for making a stand. Let's continue here, because a lot of business owners are too afraid to make a stand. And that's the other thing. Even though they have
No, in this case, I think they'd be afraid not to. I mean, if I found out that this mall was employing this controversial person, I think it'd be bad for business.
Yeah.
So they had to do this in their own defense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that.
The market really moved them on this one. It's the customers who are going to say, we don't want to do business with a place like this.
You
If you're
could argue,
supporting
though,
this
that there are a
woman-
bunch of customers who would say they do want that, right?
Well,
like
sure.
these bigots.
Yeah,
They
and
would
the
be
market
happy.
will provide.
So
I think in a lot of ways people are confused. They're confused by the media out there. They get the dog and pony show is trotted out in front of us every single day, and if it's pretty easy for somebody to come to the conclusion that what's wrong with this country is Muslims and illegal immigrants, because we get told that constantly.
855-450-FREE. Join us.
This message is for home intruders, the cowards who break into people's homes to steal their hard-earned property, criminals who shatter lives and rob people of their privacy and security. Listen very carefully. We're the home security experts at LiveWatch, and we're taking you down. Because we're letting everyone try our newest home security system for 1 full year in their home. To take advantage of this amazing offer, call now 1-800-670-9259. LiveWatch has been helping protect homes for years, and we've learned the secrets that intruders like you don't want people to know. Criminals, it's time for you to be afraid, because every person who calls will be protected against cowards like you. To the criminals listening, we're taking you down. To those who want to help protect their homes, call the security experts to try the LiveWatch security system. There are no long-term contracts, and if you're not completely satisfied, you can cancel at any time. Try LiveWatch now by calling 1-800-670-9259. That's 1-800-670-9259.
So I say to Mark at lunch, look, I keep hearing from the government that, they're worried someday ISIS may get here. And I go, Doug, Garland, Texas, Muhammad cartoon shooting, ISIS is already here. I'm not waiting for these people to defend me. If they don't know ISIS is here already, they got no clue. I'm taking care of myself. Guns80.com, AR-15 kits, 30-shot magazines, great prices. They've even got the Hillary special. Guns80.com. That's 844-2-GUNS80, Guns80.com.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah.
When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor-recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical-grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SayAHHnow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
You are an individual with your own thoughts, decisions, and actions. So why should you be penalized for not enrolling in the subpar health insurance mandated by the government? Be truly independent. Visit libertyoncall.org. Libertyoncall.org is a bold, innovative alternative allowing you to take back control and make your own decisions about your health care. Mention this ad when you call to learn more. 800-714-6993. That's 800-714-6993. libertyoncall.org. Call today.
You're fired. According to the Small Business Administration, 75% of small businesses plan to eliminate jobs or reduce workers' hours to part-time. You're fired. According to Gallup, the unemployment rate recently jumped to nearly 9%, and the underemployment rate hit a staggering 17.9%. You're fired. 1 out of 3 young adults and 1 out of 2 recent college graduates are underemployed. Hello, I'm Keith Abel, a pharmacist and a home business entrepreneur. In 2011, I became one of those statistics myself. Instead of looking for another job in corporate America, I joined Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. We're creating steady incomes for ourselves and would like to show you how to do the same. If you want to supplement your current income, replace your income, so you don't have to become one of the statistics, then give me a call toll-free at 866-257-3105, 866-257-3105. You're fired. Don't wait till you hear those words. Start creating an extra income today. 866-257-3105.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
You're listening to Free Talk Live. Call in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. as we wish our friend Derek J. a happy travels all the way to San Francisco, where he will be staying for an indeterminate period of time before going to who knows where. Maybe you'll come back to New Hampshire someday. I know
That's in the cards for sure.
Okay, good.
I will be back in New Hampshire for some amount of time.
I'm glad to hear about that. And I heard that your current boyfriend wants to move to New Hampshire someday.
Yeah.
So that could be a good thing.
So this is what the move's about, right? I mean, isn't it fair for people to know this?
Yeah, sure.
This is about you've fallen in love.
Yeah.
And you're going to
lucky
San
me.
Francisco to be with your new boyfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And do lots
we're
of other
very
things.
happy.
I'm kind of excited about it. I had briefly met him and that kind of thing, so I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's handsome, and you guys look like a nice couple.
Well, it's not just about that. It is about expanding freedom. I'm on this search for expanding freedom. I moved here to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project in search of that. And this is just a continuation of my search for freedom.
And our listeners who would like to follow you may do so at thederekj.com. That's thederekj.com.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's go right back into your phone calls and thoughts. Randy is in Texas. You're on Free Talk Live. Randy.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, I have a real issue with what's going on in our country. We've strayed far, far, far past the Constitution. These people have taken it, tainted it, thrown people in jail for crimes that don't have victims. And we have the largest prison population in the world. And I mean, look at China. They have over 2 billion people in their flipping country. Sorry.
Yep, you're going to have to get dumped on that one, Randy. Thanks for the call. It was a close catch. He almost caught it, but it was a little bit too much.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure whether if which part of the word is the bad word? Is it the last sound, the last little noise in the syllable, or what?
He kind of got that last syllable out on that one. Anyway, let's see. Where was he going with his comments? Anyone want to comment on that?
Well, he was saying that there's all kinds of problems going on in this country with lack of freedom, and that
the lack of freedom to even say what he was trying to say.
Sorry about that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine. Are there that many countries where you could just go on and say whatever you want to say on the radio as far as cuss words go?
I have no idea.
I can't imagine. From a comparative standpoint, I would say that the FCC doesn't put that much of an infringement on people's ability to speak. There's only really a few words you can't say. I mean, it could be worse, right? As far as
it could be worse. Could be Canada.
I would be interested to know if they ever actually had a court case about that and what freedom of speech looks like in that way. But they don't really do that generally.
Are you saying, was there a court case about the 7 dirty words? I don't think there has been.
Wasn't there Pacifica from a long time ago?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
So, yeah, I share some of his concerns and all, but the Constitution, of course, was never signed by any of the people in the government today, although a number of them did swear an oath to uphold it. Clearly, their interpretations of what it says differ from Randy's interpretation and our interpretations. Of course, the people in this studio and most of the people listening never signed the Constitution nor swore an oath to it. So, I mean, it is essentially a dead letter by all evidence. It's just that to some extent, it kind of keeps them in check a little bit because they still have to at least pander to the idea that it still exists. And there is that pesky free speech thing in there that relatively is still in play, although, Derek J., as you pointed out, not necessarily on the radio waves. So you're welcome to share your thoughts here. Let's continue. We've got Relb. I don't know if that's his name, but that's what's spelled here. In New Jersey. Is it Relb?
It is Ralph. Yes, indeed. How are you guys?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
What is your name?
Ralph.
Ralph. Okay, Ralph.
Ralph. Yes. Yes. Well, you have some kind of like a technical problem when I listen to you over the weekend. I know what it is. I'm just listening to you on the phone right now because you are on the car. I by the station here in Jersey on weekends. But, I'm of the opinion that this man, Obama, here we go again, right?
Yeah.
Is complicit, okay, to what's happening in the stock market, being that he is a do-nothing, up to no good, good for nothing kind of a man. And
so you're blaming the stock market difficulties on Barack Obama
and his do-nothing policies?
His do-nothing policy with regard to the economy. I mean, where's this economy growing?
He should be meddling in the economy more.
Growing?
Well, wait, what do you want to see him do? What can this one man do?
Oh, I'll tell you what he can do. We are told that this man is Barack the Magic Negro. That he has some kind of like a magical. He has like some kind of a magical.
I'm not told that.
He has like some kind of a magical power about him. Where's the black magic now with regard to the stock market? Why isn't he invoking that?
Yeah.
Better still,
what do you want him to do exactly? I mean,
you don't think he's got black magic, do you? That's for something in him and Michelle to talk about.
That's funny who would pull with that.
Ralph, I really want to know. I mean, you are a huge critic of Barack Obama. Every time you call the show, you're critiquing him. But now you're critiquing him for not doing enough. So what do you want him to do?
You really want to know if this was my program, if I was the one producing or running this program, this would have been a hate campaign on Obama kind of
it'd be every night, Barack Obama.
You'd have a lot of competition.
You know what I'm saying? The kingdom come.
I think you should apply for a talk radio job. I mean, this guy, he'd make a great conservative talk show host. All he ever talks about is Barack Obama. And that's all that the conservative guys ever talk about,
Ralph,
except for the ones that are still talking about Bill Clinton.
Ralph, you've been calling enough that I've noticed that you have an accent. Can I ask where you're from originally?
Yeah, I'm from the Philippines.
The Philippines. Thank you so much.
Interesting.
Right.
Thanks for your call tonight, Ralph. I do appreciate hearing from you. Look, if you don't like the guy, if you don't like the president, whoever it is, George Bush, Barack Obama, they're all the same to me. But if you don't like them, then isn't it a good thing if they don't do anything? Like, they could be doing things to make things worse, right? Like, they could be passing all kinds of laws, and certainly Barack Obama has done that.
Well, they're reporting on how many times he goes and plays golf. I just heard a report today on how often Obama plays golf.
Shouldn't he be applauded? I mean, shouldn't we be buying him gift certificates to the golf shops and the courses and things to keep him going, playing more golf rather than, let's say, ordering bombs being dropped on people around the world?
Yeah. Or getting involved in the economy with Keynesian policies. Whatever it is, it's rare that a politician can help it, right? And so I'm not really interested in them getting that involved.
Well, right. The only way they can actually help things is by getting out of the way. And, of course, Barack Obama is not going to do that, and neither is whichever Republican, if they happen to get elected in 2016. So you want the government to get out of the way, then let's talk about that. But if you want Barack Obama to do something for you or to do something different, that's just not going to happen. Yeah. He's not going to change his game.
I'd like a do-nothing president.
Exactly. Charlie is listening in Arizona to K-Talks. Hey, Charlie.
Yes, good evening,
Welcome.
gentlemen. I want to wish your colleague luck on his move to California. And,
thanks, Charlie. He's going to need it.
Yeah, I know you do. I think there's a quote from Will Rogers: "The only time the country is safe is when the Congress is in recess."
That's true. It's still true.
My comment is on the Koreas, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that they were actually still in a state of war. The only thing they did was sign an armistice. So basically, they can start shooting anytime they want.
And they did, apparently. They shot shells at loudspeakers recently.
Yeah, well, your basic noise complaint. But, a lot of people don't realize.
Maybe in Arizona.
They're still at war. And people don't remember that.
Yeah,
but
that's
anyway,
an important point. I'm glad you called to make that. Anything else you want to share, Charlie? Go ahead.
No, basically just that, and good luck to your friend.
Thank you, Charlie, for your call.
You have a good week.
Here tonight. Of course,
thanks, Charlie.
Like we said before, Derek J. will still continue doing his various radio efforts.
Yeah.
So your weekly dose of Derek J. will still be fairly close to what it has been. Your continuing Flaming Freedom, which will be super. I mean, it couldn't get much more flaming than it currently is, but I think it might.
It
when
gets
you're actually
gayer every week.
Right. When
and
you're
now
actually in San Francisco.
forget about it.
You'll have no shortage for potential co-hosts in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, I want to pull a reverse Howard Stern, get maybe some of these gay prostitutes up on the radio.
Do you know Starchild? Have you met him?
No, and we got to be introduced because he's
I'm
one of these
shocked.
big libertarians out in San Francisco.
Yeah,
he'd be great.
Starchild is legendary in the liberty movement.
He sure is.
Well, Flaming Freedom's about to get much more flaming.
Starting next week, you're going to be down in San Francisco by the next episode of Flaming Freedom. So not this one coming this week,
but the next one.
That's TheDerekJ.com?
TheDerekJ.com.
Derek J, thanks, man.
Thank you,
Awesome.
guys. It's been a real trip.
All right, more tomorrow night. In the meantime, join us online at freetalklive.com.
If worst comes to worst, will you be prepared? You don't have to be a survivalist to prepare for the unexpected. Storing necessary supplies like food, water, and emergency equipment is simply taking responsibility for ourselves and our families when it counts the most. StrategicShelters.com offers emergency supplies and a secure way to store them, and provides protection for loved ones in the event of an extreme natural or man-made disaster. To find out more, visit StrategicShelters.com.
Kid, let me paint you a picture. Tuesday night, your cog belt goes bust. Who will help you get what you need fast, without the hoops, hurdles, or headaches? Grainger, that's who. I love Grainger. They got a wide variety of products and solutions. Grainger makes it easy to get everything we need, and answers for when we're not sure what the answer is. Now, kid, let me paint you another picture. It looks like a mop, a basement bathroom, and you, all over it. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold.
CNN has learned just how worried top U.S. commanders were